What's going on, everybody? Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. On tap today is an absolute treat. We have a returning guest and friend of the show, Juan Damaris, a.k.a. Primo. And he takes a break from ruffling people's feathers to come onto the podcast, and we kind of break down the world at large. We talk about the fuckery of 2020, politics, military, law enforcement, social issues, and also we get into fallen Vallejo officer Capu's organization, how his family's raising money for kids in athletics. So go ahead and look into that. And I think it's a pretty good pod. It's a humble 2 hours, and I think it's worth taking a break out of your day, listening to it, getting some insight, and yeah, go off, get the hell out of here, and enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Sorry, you had to spin your phone on.
Let's see, where the hell?
All right, let's do this.
There we go. All right, let's get this thing started.
Look, cheers.
Number one, little top-bottom action.
Ooh.
Boom.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, dude, it's good to be back. Good to have you on again.
It's good to be back
God
on.
Damn it, Juan. We've done this once before. We're in Vacaville, but now we're in your favorite barbershop spot.
It's the OG.
The
This
OG.
is the OG spot.
The
man.
Primos.
Primo.
Love it.
This is actually, this side used to be the tattoo side, but our tattoo side has grown so big that we flip-flop sides, so we have
Do the old switcheroo.
the three over there and just solo me over here.
They're busy over there.
They're busy, man.
I
All
love
three
it,
of them are
dude.
tatting right now.
A lot of ink, a lot of art going around out
A lot
there.
of good stuff
I
going
love
on that
it.
side.
So, a lot of gone down since last we've been on. You want to bring us up to date on everything going on, Primos, your life, just
Well, I
what's
think
been going
last
down?
time we were together talking, I just started my whole I'm staying open stance. And I continued on for all the months. The funny thing is that as soon as we were legally allowed to be open after the second round of shutdowns, that's when the state hit me with a adverse action hearing request. So we went before a state judge, dealt with that whole thing, and they came back with a ruling 2 days before Governor Newsom's ruling, which was, positive, could have been a positive thing, but they beat it to the punch.
So he could have overruled it and said, "Hey, I deem his action constitutional."
Right. So his actions were deemed unconstitutional. He was
Right.
An injunction was put on him, and since then he's tried to appeal that injunction. It's still on him. So now he has no more avenues. So I guess now he just gets to go to the French Laundry.
Is his business license going to get
I
suspended?
don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he gets to go out to restaurants and friends and have Thanksgiving dinner and do whatever he wants. But slowly.
Us peasants,
We
we don't get to play by the same rules.
Yep. So I got suspended. My establishment in Vacaville got suspended. So we're working on remediating that. My brother, he's probably going to buy the shop from me.
Okay.
But
it's going to stay Primos. It's going to stay own same flavor.
It's going to be everything. It's just going to be my brother Joe.
Gotcha.
My brother Joe's pretty like-minded, really good guy. He actually is running for the special election in Vacaville. He'll be running for the District 2 seat.
No
Yeah.
All right, very
Not
good.
formally announced, but as soon as the paperwork's are allowed.
Here it is. There we go. Now it's not.
So Joe, just started your campaign. Sorry.
There we go. How good of a barber is he, though?
He's not a barber. He's just an owner.
No?
He's been a silent partner these last 4 years.
Oh, cool.
So just an investor of sorts. He's always been my confidant, my big brother. He's also a fellow Marine law enforcement officer. He was a federal agent for a while.
Wow.
Went really high up into the federal agent world. And then he just recently got a job in the private sector. So he's doing real well. But so he's going to be coming out of the silent partner position and taking a more active role as a small business owner, just like me.
So he knows some people that know some people that could
that
he's
guy-
got strings to pull this guy, this Joe.
I'm not sure he's going to pull any strings for me, but he knows some people.
Just in case.
I'll say that, yeah.
Very good. Well,
So,
it's good to know to have him on your side and to have your older brother backing. A lot of times, people would, working with family is a little difficult, but
Right.
with it, you guys find a good flow of just this is your lane, that's his lane.
It's extremely it's without a hitch. This guy's, like I said, we've been best friends for years. We're very like-minded. He's a Democrat, I'm a Republican. That's about the biggest split we have. But he's a moderate Democrat, and I'm a moderate Republican when it comes to some things. And so we end up meeting somewhere in the middle. But as far as business goes, he's just been a silent partner, and he really truly was just that. He was a silent partner. I would seek out some advice from him, and he would give it to me, but he let me run the business the way I wanted to run it.
That's awesome. So
it was nice. It was a good trade-off.
And it's not like you're selling out to some corporation. It's not like it's going to be something like Primos is going to change its names or anything like that.
And, at some point in time, these shops are still going to my children. I built them for them, and he'll sell them to my children, just like I'd want him to. So it's an all-around good thing.
I like that.
Keeping the family.
I like that, you said you guys have different political views, but at the same time, you guys are, like you said, best friends. You guys can have a conversation without gutting each other.
That's the sad thing about this state of affairs right now is there's no more moderation. There's no more bipartisanship. There's no more being able to have a barbecue with the guy who's a Republican if you're a Democrat. Actually, there's no more, if you're not all the way to the left, there's no more liking regular Democrats either. You know what I mean? So the division the line's been drawn in the sand. The division's getting deeper and deeper. I think our nation's at a tipping point for sure.
It sucks. It sucks to see that there's not, because I try to stay on the fence, stay open-minded. Okay, if this side makes sense, all right, I can adhere that and see if it rings true to me. But if you think one way, I think the media also does a great job at drawing that line in the sand. Because I'm willing to believe a lot of people aren't willing to come to blows over politics and then can agree. Yeah, we got difference of opinions, but we don't need to fight each other over. We don't need to hate each other.
Well, like I was saying, we're at a tipping point in this country. I don't think we've been this divided since the Civil War. And the problem with the division now is that the Civil War there was a pretty consistent line. Hey, if you're down south, you're a Confederate. If you're up north, part of the Union, and we're just going to go at it. Now, obviously, there were some brothers that were fighting brothers, and there's families fighting families and stuff, but there's no more clear lines in America. We're all mixed.
It's for sure mixed. A lot more diversity in cultures and whatnot. Right. But I feel like racism, it's tossed around so easily now. The word hate. It's back then. It's if Southerners, you have slaves. That's what it is. But nowadays, anybody can concoct any story to label you a racist for XYZ reasons.
When they're labeling me a racist, you
have white in your beard. You're sicking me.
I do have white in my beard.
That's pretty
but
horrendous.
I'm a conservative Latino, so I have to be racist, right? And that's the sad thing about this country too. Is we have less and less veterans, so we have less and less people that have served with all other types of people. You can't even stay racist if you're in the military. There's no way to stay racist. You're bunking with a brother. You're bunking with an Asian dude. You're bunking with a white dude.
Everybody.
And we're all family. And I feel like the only thing that could possibly could get us back on track is everyone has to serve. Everyone's the same. And the military is a great avenue, but I don't think this country's ever going to get to that point.
Do you think that, because I met a guy in college one time, he's from South Korea, there's mandatory military service, as Israel. Do you think that would get people to lighten up a little bit? Because I feel like the military has such a laid-back sense of humor where you can make fun of yourself, and it's...
Well, I think what it will do is it'll help people remember that we're all on the same team.
Very true.
We're all Americans. We all love this country. We're all willing to sacrifice this for this country. Where, a perfect example, I have a great buddy. His name's Shane Roach. Shane Miller now, but great guy. Probably the funniest man I've ever met in my entire life. Lives down in L.A. Super liberal. Super, just berserk. And I'm sure he thinks the same way about me. He's like, damn, I got this friend named Juan. He's the most redneck Mexican I've ever met in my life.
I was going to say.
But...
You're the most tan redneck I've ever seen.
We can go at it. We can disagree on everything, but I love him. And he loves me. We're brothers. And I'll never not love Shane. If Shane gets into some right now, I'll go down and I'll fight for him.
Did you guys serve together?
Yeah, we were in the same unit together. But it's a perfect example. Just because we're Marines doesn't mean all Marines are to the left and all Marines are to the right. There's this big melting pot, but we're all on the same... There's the esprit of the Corps. There's the camaraderie ship that defies and politics. So, and that's the thing is people make politics who they are instead of maybe just what they believe in. It's just like being a law enforcement officer. If you're Juan the cop, then you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? But if you're Juan the husband, the father, the fishing hook collector, and and by the way, I'm a police officer, then that's how you're going to make it. You can't make who you like, what you do for a living, or what you believe politically, who you are. It's just something about you.
I think that's big fallacy. What's going on, like it causes such the divide in the country, is that's how people are only identifying themselves, and they're not even digging deeper to think if this is truly like this is what I identify with. This is what the masses are believing. I have no idea what to think about. I'm just gonna put my hat in this way of thinking.
Like all those people out there that were, like myself included, that we made fun of, like, these guys are, conspiracy, okay, another conspiracy, you're okay, buddy. Oh yeah. But now all the stuff they've been saying is starting to ring true. All the things that they were talking about, all these, like, is the government not allowing our kids to go to school because they just want them to be dumber? They don't want to teach them the things that they need to learn to be independent. I mean, because it's not a health risk, right? We've come to the determination that 18-year-olds and below are not at risk for going to school. And I'm sure if we found some teachers that really, like, for some reason couldn't go to school because they're in the elderly bracket or whatever, well, then we have to replace them. You know what I mean? Like, there's this thing called retirement. Like, hey, let's Zoom the teacher in then. How about that?
Zoom the teacher or some kind of hiatus.
We have like a teacher's aide of some sort to keep the peace and ensure these kids have the help and stuff they need. But like keeping these kids at home, away from their friends, away from society, away from learning. I mean, is there a bigger agenda going on?
Who's the? It looks like there's a lot of suspicion. It doesn't smell right. There's an old.
This election hasn't smelled right. This coronavirus lockdown hasn't smelled right. The new lockdown that took effect today doesn't feel right. I mean, listen. This is the crazy part. For 9 months, barbers were considered non-essential, right? And how dare you stand up for what you built? How dare you stand up for a craft that you love? How dare you stand up for the investment you made, right? You must hate everyone. You're a racist. You want my grandmother to die, right? But today when we close down, for whatever reason, barbers are now essential workers.
Who made that decision?
Who knows?
Who's making these choices?
But 9 months ago, you couldn't get a tattoo when we were shut down. You couldn't get a haircut. But today, for some reason, on this new big wave of COVID, they've determined that.
And they just I don't know what the purpose of it would be, but just how timely the announcement of a vaccine, possibly right after the election announcement. There's so much, like you said, I don't know where it begins and ends. I'm not that well researched.
I don't even think the people partaking in the know where it begins and ends. I think they're everyone's just adding on, and someone's getting paid. I mean, what? These big companies made $10 trillion in profit over COVID. I'm sure Amazon killed it. Walmart, Costco, Target. I'm sure those companies killed it. Who's ever in charge of those companies getting a big bonus, and they're doing extremely well. Where the small businesses, these businesses that give money to your sports teams or your little kids' sports teams.
Eagle Drug just went out of business.
Eagle Drugs went out of business. There's no more Eagle Drugs on the winter's baseball field. Like all these businesses that are really the true backbone of America. Them, right? They can close down.
They're getting wiped out.
And they're getting wiped out, and no one gives a right? But these other businesses are profiting. So you can't sit here and tell me that there's nothing going on and that it's about safety. It's never been about safety. It's always been about compliance. And someone's winning and someone's losing. And I can tell you that the small businesses are losing.
And nobody's getting checked. There's no checks and balances, it seems like. And regardless, I mean, it's a worldwide pandemic. I can't believe that all world governments would get together to scheme and destroy every small business out there. But at the same time, just looking at what's going on, it's like, okay, where's the financial aid? You're just telling these people to close, wait, and then die.
I'm not sure it's a big stretch to think that these world governments are getting together. I mean, they're looking for a new world order. It's coming. I mean, I saw a video today of the Mayor Littlefoot talking about the new world order. Like the WHO, the United Nations. They've been potatoes. And that's why they hate Trump, because Trump's calling them out. Like, wait a minute, why should we believe the United Nations, who we pay, 98% of their money, but everyone in the world gets a say? This is not right. I mean, like, same with our ally, groups like, well, yeah, we've been their allies, but we're paying for these treaties and these pacts, and we're paying unfair amount. So, we had a president who called the world out on this, and now he's the villain and he's the bad guy. Whether you agree with Trump or not, the reason why he was voted in, I strongly believe, was because he's not a politician. He's not a part of the system, and they hate him for it. Everyone hates him.
He's such a piece of shit human being that people couldn't see past that,
right?
And say, all right, let's maybe give him a chance or see what happens. I would ask anybody on the street protesting, what's one, maybe two good things he's done, possibly. And I think people only research facts that reaffirm how they think, nothing to the contrary.
Right.
Nothing that would ever, because then you're going to be upset.
I mean,
because,
if we want to talk
wrong.
about, let's talk about BLM for a second.
Mm-hmm.
No president ever has ever done so much for the black community. He's overhauled the Department of Justice. That's what Democrats have been crying about since Joe Biden passed the crime bill, right? It was a terrible crime bill. What
was the crime bill? I've done zero research. I don't know anything.
1994, Joe Biden comes up with this crime bill, super racist bill, like, hey, if you smoke crack, we're going to put you in prison for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super one way. I mean, they're definitely going out after certain communities, the Latino and the black communities, and he's calling them the jungle. He's calling them predators. He's calling them all the words that we hear Trump say. And oh my God, but you fast forward 20, almost 30 years later. Now he's like, yeah, I might have made a mistake, my bad. But who overturned that mistake? Obama didn't overturn that mistake. The Bushes didn't overturn that mistake. Reagan didn't overturn that mistake. The only one who overturned that mistake was Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. He's funded colleges, black colleges, millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars. He's done more for the black community than any president I've ever seen. And you can look it up on paper. You don't have to believe me. You can fact check it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter because he's not a Democrat. Then he must hate black people. Right?
That doesn't fit the narrative that he's
Joe
doing
Biden
good
even
thing.
said it himself. Like, hey, if you vote for Trump, you're not black.
How does he have the gall to say that, or even did you want to vote for Biden after he played Despacito on his phone? Did that spirit your Latino fire? Hearing a white kid sing.
Didn't give me sway. Well, I mean, let's talk about Latinos. Let's talk about Florida. Florida's full of Cubans, Venezuelans, and those people have come from a socialist regime. They see the writing on the wall. They're like, hey, if America doesn't stop, we might as well have not have fled. We could have just stayed where we were because this is what's going to happen. Again, I know a lot of this sounds like, oh my gosh, conspiracy, but
some Alex Jones.
Yeah,
get that guy on here.
We're getting to a certain point where, you know who the real conspiracy theorist people are? They're the people that believe that the media has our best interests in mind and that are giving us fair and unbiased information.
I saw your post today.
Yeah, they're the ones who believe that politicians think that, hey, we're good to go, like they're out here to help us. Those are the real conspiracy theories because you got to be crazy to believe that. You got to be crazy to not see
or second guess like what they're saying or what the agenda or how it's framed.
How about just question things?
Question it at the very least, like you said, fact check, but that takes effort. It takes time, and when it's easier to just hear somebody that says it eloquently in a way you can't. Okay, I just believe them. Right. Say like whatever, like it's Black Lives Matter. Oh, I'll believe everything they have to say. Right. And where it's, I don't know, like that the whole stance on like defunding the police. That's very upsetting. Crime is
sad. Where the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys.
Well,
it's a confusing world we live in. These same people screaming for defunding the police are the same people caught on camera screaming for the cops when citizens that don't align with them stand up for themselves and fight back. Mm-hmm. They're the ones. Where are the cops? Where are the cops? How dare you? How dare you let these people?
They're working at McDonald's because they got defunded. They need another job.
Right. Well, and there's no one who's going to want to be a cop after this.
Fuck no.
Would you want your little boy or little girl becoming a cop?
Well, my best friend's he's SFPD, and I'm scared for him. He's a new dad. He's a great person. One of my best friends.
The only thing being a law enforcement officer guarantees you is you're going to be fired, or you're going to be sued, or you're going to be filmed, and it's going to be misconstrued, and you're going to be guilty before you're proven innocent. Mm-hmm. That's the guarantee of being a law enforcement officer.
Where's the incentive?
Yeah, your own departments. The departments don't have your back. They're going to sell you down the river because they want to ensure these great, good citizens of the city of Berkeley that, hey, we do not tolerate, bad bad cops. We don't tolerate racist cops. We don't tolerate white cops that have to go into black communities and serve the public after they've been called. We won't support that. So it's like, well, so you're basically taking anyone who has any kind of intelligence. Most of the people who become law enforcement officers are legacy officers that their grandfathers were cops, right? And their grandfathers and fathers are telling them, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go.
They're saying don't be a cop.
You have veterans, right? Well, we don't want veterans to be cops because they have PTSD issues. But these are so now the veterans are like, fine, we don't want to be cops either. And then you have college age kids, right? That are graduated college. You just taught them all about life, and let's just be honest, you've taught them about your views on life. These professors are all one-sided, right? Mm-hmm. So which one of these college students is going to want to get out and help make a change on the law enforcement side? None of them. Because they're all going to be somewhat intelligent kids that are like, wow, I really don't want my livelihood taken. I don't want to go to prison for any amount of time. I don't want to even be in the area where another cop does something because I'm going to go to prison. Mm-hmm. Even if I snitch on him, I'm going to go to prison. It's a crazy phenomenon.
My buddy,
and we're not feeling it yet, but
it's going to happen.
5 years from now, we're going to feel it.
I hope it alleviates a little bit, or a little more, say, compassion for cops and the impossible nature of their job. I talked to my buddy and like a handful of cops. It was for his birthday up in Clear Lake. Great time. Didn't feel in danger at all. He had 10 cops there, and I was talking to him because
Clear Lake's a suspect area, bro.
Clear Lake? Oh, man. We put out the burning cross. His team took off the robes. We're good.
That's like a suspect.
I was talking to him. I was like, how do you guys feel about the George Floyd thing? And they were pissed off. Like, this guy made us all look like shit. Now we're all paying for it. We don't agree with that.
I think that's the
cops hate
reaction
that.
To every law enforcement officer who, look, even barbers, man. Like, there's got to be barbers that are murderers. There's got to be barbers that are rapists. Mm-hmm. There's got to be barbers that are child pornography people or molesters, right? But so do we just say, hey, fuck barbers, all barbers are bad,
Why do you think that it's getting so popular? Like, I have an opinion on it, but why do you think it's so popular to just generalize this? All right, one person does something, say it's a cop, say it's a rioter. We're automatically going to believe every Democrat's this crazy bloodthirsty maniac that wants to burn down cities. Every Republican, anybody that has a blue line, a flag, okay, that might as well be a swastika. It's everybody. It's one person. If you stand for a little bit of something, you're going to get labeled and tossed into this giant group.
I can tell you exactly why. Because then
it's easy.
You and I get to virtue signal.
Yeah.
We get to sit here behind our little iPhone 6 or 7, or if you're cool, you got a 10 or 11, right?
I got the Ocho.
Yeah, Ocho.
Like ESPN 8.
So we got to be virtue. We got to make ourselves feel like, hey, we can signal. Oh my gosh, how dare you not wear your mask in a public place? You obviously don't care about my grandmother who lives in New Jersey and is 89 years old and has breast cancer. You don't care about them. You hate them. In fact, you're a murderer, right?
I sent her a letter the other day. I said, die, bitch. I sneezed in the letter before I sent it.
So, it's just that it's so easy for everyone to feel some sort of like the virtual signaling is a real thing on both sides.
Absolutely.
Right. And I find myself wanting to bring awareness to like fallen officers. I want to bring awareness to like the fact that barbers are essential and that feeding our families is essential, and that's not going to change. I also want to bring awareness to the fact that like we're not going to be muzzled, we're not going to be controlled. The government's overreached, right? And that telling anyone that they're not essential or that feeding their families is not essential is crazy. It's mind-boggling. And it's never, ever been done in the history of our country before. We've never closed down our country for any pandemic. COVID-19 is not going away. In fact, it's going to mutate probably next year. Mm-hmm. And this vaccine that they've rushed to make is just going to have to get updated. And people swear that staying home and keeping a mask on, let's say we have a true, honest-to-goodness lockdown. Like police state, military state, everyone's in their house. You come outside, you're going to get shot kind of shut lockdown, right?
Talking Russia.
Right. They drop off supplies at a certain checkpoint. One family can come out at a time wearing the proper gear, right? Like, let's say we really, really did it, like, for real, right? It's not going to stop COVID-19.
No,
it's
they don't
not.
give a
So And then they're gonna let's just pretend the government gives us back our rights that we just gave up, right? Let's pretend for a second that they're like, okay, it's been 2 weeks, guys. We told you 2 weeks. We're men of our word. You know what I mean? Come on out, right? Shed those masks. Get back to work. We want America to be great again. Blah blah blah, right? So we all do it. Oh, so what? There's not going to be COVID-19.
It's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there.
It's going to be the new. It's the new flu.
It's the
new
flu.
It's
well, I mean. What, the flu's been eradicated apparently now.
It has. Good for us.
Yeah, there's no more flu.
All right.
Sure. There's no more flu. There's no more people dying from the regular flu. That's gone. We somehow COVID-19 cured it. Right? But there's still COVID-19. So the 200,000 that died last year are different than the 200,000 that died this year. Right? And yeah, they were old last year too, but they're someone's grandmother this year, though.
It's kind of squirrely. I mean, so all these statistics coming out, like, we have to fact check. It sucks, and it takes time, but to check every sort of, where is this coming from? Are these people really, did they get mauled by a shark or bear, and then, they got some COVID sprinkled on them?
I've heard that, let's say you go to the hospital today, right? Mm-hmm. And we test you, oh my gosh, you're admitted, you have COVID-19, you're in a bad state, right? And so I'm going to test you tomorrow, right? And so you're a stat for tomorrow. And then I'm going to test you for the next day. Oh, so you're another stat for the next day, right?
They just added on?
They added on. It's not like they're like, oh, but this guy was tested 3 weeks ago and he had it, so he's no longer allowed to be a stat because we've already got that number, right? They're stacking numbers. I mean, and these poor hospitals are probably going out of business if they don't, right?
Crazy how much they're under.
They're getting paid by how many COVID cases they have, right? And since everyone's locked down, you can't go get tits put on, or you can't go get your dick enlarged. Then
I know they canceled my appointment, dude. It sucked.
I know. So all these regular things, vasectomies, eye surgeries, they're all postponed, right? So these hospitals are losing millions of dollars a day on that, right? So what can they do? They can
cook the numbers a little bit.
The numbers, man, because that's how they're getting paid.
Yeah. It's just like, it all kind of like falls in. It just seems like, fuck, what can we do about this?
You know what we can do? We as a species, you and I, we're men. And we can forget this whole emasculation and take charge of our lives, take charge of our families' lives, and be men. We can be men again. It's not a crime to be a man, but this country hates men. This country hates masculinity. Oh, it's so toxic. Oh my God. Like, how dare you teach little Johnny that he has to wear pants?
There's a clear line between misogyny and being overly masculine and, like, being who you are, which is maybe a little rough around the edges. It's okay to be who you are. I mean, like, look at, I remember watching this kind of documentary in college. It's called Tough Guys, where, like, we're little boys. We grew up with G.I. Joes, guns, explosions, Dragon Ball Z, just, like, kind of violent shit. Grow up, it's, like, here, you're going to make believe, like, cooking on a stove or whatever. Like, pretend that you're with this doll, like, be a mom earlier on. It's all kind of, like, subliminally stuffed in our mind of who we're supposed to be growing up, and now it's like, but they're going to try to undo.
Well, I mean, you have one side of the aisle saying, hey, I mean, Biden has said, hey, 8-year-olds should be able to determine what sex they are, right? So my little 8-year-old girl who thinks she's a cat yesterday decides she wants to be a boy, so let's just shave her head, let's make sure she goes to the men's bathroom, let's call her Billy, instead of Bernice, and do what, I mean, and everyone's bought hook, line, and sinker. Instead of being like, hey kid, you're 8 years old, give it a little time, you'll figure it out.
Our brains don't stop developing until like 25.
No one said there's anything wrong with these kids figuring things out, right? Mm-hmm. But let them figure it out, man. Like, we don't need to, like, shove anything down their heads and make them believe a whim of the day. You know what I mean? We can just let them be kids. Like, oh, little Johnny wants to be a cat today. Okay, that doesn't mean I sew a tail onto him and do all kinds of crazy things.
Kids are gonna be weird.
We just need the West needs to remember that we're men. We have these families to provide for and protect. And the people who are missing the masculinity and the men the most are good women. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they're sick of raising their sons on their own. I'm sure they're sick of having to provide for with no help from fathers, because these guys want to stick. I mean, there's guys that want to spend hours and hours devoted their time trying to find PS5.
I haven't found one yet. God damn it.
Rather than work and make a living, you know what I mean?
We're
criminalized for working and making a living, but if I sat at home, use my mom's free Wi-Fi, and found a PS5, I'm a hero.
Even if you yeah, right. That's the new value of what you can bring in as a man. Even a guy rough around the edges, you got calluses on your hands, but even say a manly man, Juan, there's a clear difference between being a man and then seeing a piece of abusing his wife or being a clear poison to society. My ex's dad was in Desert Storm, and in the Middle East, culture or over there where women are property, that's true. Poison. That's their culture, but that is still so.
Look, people are forgetting that we're still in the greatest nation on earth. We are privileged and lucky to live in a society like America, man. For a moment, maybe even only a moment left, we're still free men and women. These mandates and these orders, they're getting contested, and they're going to win some and we're going to lose some, right? But this might be, in 10 years from now, our kids might not get to do the same. Our kids might not be able to sit in their barbershop and say, "F you, Governor Newsom, I'm not closing. What are you going to do about it?" Mm-hmm. Right? Because then they might have some laws in place by then. They might, because this is just a dry run, if you will. If we let this happen, the problem with giving up rights is it's once you give them up, they're almost impossible to get back. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing. We're giving up our rights. We're giving up our freedoms, and once we do that, there's no going back.
Do you think that once COVID subsides a bit and our kind of hysteria around it goes down and becomes kind of the norm, do you think once the rights start not flooding back, but our right to go out and say, go to Hoobies, go to a brewery, walk around without a mask on, and go to a sporting event, go to a concert without having to provide proof that you've been tested negative or what have you, do you think that will help out at all, or is this a downhill spiral?
I honestly don't think we're going to get those privileges back.
It's going to be this kind of rigid.
We gave it away, man. I mean, look, we can't go to church and sing. We can't go to school and learn. We can't go to our businesses and provide for our families. We can't go to concerts. There's no more sports. I mean, so should we be thankful that we're allowed to watch it on TV? Should we be thanking our lucky stars that we live in a country? Well, okay, COVID's so scary, but thank God these politicians allow us to watch the NFL on TV as long as we get to see the message they want us to see, Mm-hmm. But if we comply, then we'll get privileges. Let's not mess that up. Do you see how that sounds like? It's boggling. Oh, maybe they'll let us go back to Hoobies and have a beer without a mask on. But what? That sounds weird that we're even asking permission for that kind of stuff. Please, Governor Newsom, allow us to go to the French Laundry and have a birthday party like you did, please, sir.
If he leads by example, then what's going to stop people from just? I kind of see people and say law enforcement and the military. If the government keeps on its happy-go-lucky ways of taking away liberties, how it's kind of been laid out, what we're kind of seeing. I don't know. There's enough men and women that have enough wherewithal to say F that. We're not going to let this happen.
Right.
Right. Do you see the military kind of or police?
I mean, it sounds like a romantic thing. I hope.
Hopeless romantic.
I hope
it never gets to that point.
I hope we can. I mean, that sounds great, man. It would be nice to really believe that this is going to be over soon, right? And then we're going to go back to normal. But when you have people who run the WHO saying there's no such thing as new normal, we're never going to go back. When they're saying that, when our government's saying that, when our politicians are saying that, and when they've already showed us how easy it was for them to take it and keep on taking it. Okay, so let's flatten the curve. Everyone, let's pitch in 15 days. It's April 1st. Come on, guys. We can all do this. Let's do it for mankind. We don't want to flood the poor Chinese and the Italians. They flooded their hospitals. We just need to flatten the curve. That way we can, because COVID's a real thing, and people are going to go to the hospital. So let's just be reasonable and shut down for 15. Okay, cool. Let's do that, right? Hey guys, that 15 days.
15 months later,
it didn't work. Let's do another couple weeks. Let's just see how it goes, right?
Let's get on stud.
What's going on?
So, I want.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you got it.
I don't know. Many of you know this OG spot is now a tattoo shop.
Want to get cold?
Yeah,
where am I at? I'm on camera over here.
Yeah,
How's it going, everybody?
Talk to everyone.
What's going on?
We're just talking, politics and and such.
Right on, right on.
So how's the tattoo life going?
Oh, it's going wonderful. Wonderful. Shop's busy every single day, you know. Couldn't be happier.
People are just glad to be open up again.
Yeah, just wonderful.
We're just so excited to finally be back to work.
Right. Exactly. Get back to work. What's going on, man? How's everything going though?
Nothing. We're talking to Keith Gertz's brother here.
What's up, everybody? We're on two different.
This one's
lives.
live. This is recorded.
That one's recorded. That one's gonna go on his trial by Aaron.
Got you.
Got any questions for this tattoo guy right here?
Yeah, dude. How many tattoos you got, baby?
Man,
I was like, can you show that one?
Right. I mean, I got my hand. I got both arms blasted.
Is that a Seahawks tattoo?
That is a Seahawks.
Show him the one on your dick.
Baby.
Show him the one on your dick.
We got a losing.
Do you got the zoom?
They got a panoramic zoom.
That way you can show him the one on your penis.
Right? It's a long one, man. You're gonna have to stretch out.
A fist.
Yeah, bro. What were you gonna get on yours?
One day when I'm done running. Right, when I'm done running for politics, I'm gonna go ahead and tattoo USMC on my dick. And then when I get hard, it's gonna say United States Marine Corps.
Naughty.
Man, I won't be the guy doing that, but maybe.
Come on, Cole.
Man, I got you.
I already put down the deposit.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. How long are you guys doing the podcast for?
Dude, as long as it takes. We gotta talk about these things nobody's talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I'm gonna be watching the podcast after. I'm in the middle of the tattoo.
Here's one thing I want to ask though, Cole, before you leave.
Yep.
Flat Earth or round?
Flat, baby.
Cole's a flat Earth guy.
Flat Earth.
He's a flat Earth.
100%.
See, you could have a podcast with Cole Slater.
Definitely. I don't think it's flat, but I think it's it's definitely, we're not a floating ball going a million miles an hour through space. I don't believe that at all.
This would be so fun to dissect, Gertz.
I love it. I think we go again. We have more than two microphones. We could definitely do like a round table.
Yes, a round table or a flat table.
Oh, I'd love to do
flat
that.
You can get the flat one. We'll have a round one.
Yeah. You bring in your notes, I bring in mine.
Ooh.
We'll go back at it.
Cole's got some good videos, man. He's almost convinced me.
Dude, the algorithm has changed. They you can't even find the videos anymore, dude. It's hard.
I'm telling you, censorship. Censorship's a real thing right now.
Speech, dude.
I mean, look at that Hunter Biden post, right? That guy.
Twitter censored it. They cut it out.
They came out and said, "Yeah, we censored it. We're gonna do it again." Like Samuel L. Jackson voice. You're goddamn right. I killed her. Not do it again.
If Samuel L. Jackson voiced a lot of this crazy,
God.
if he was the voice of the government, I would just comply. Like, I got you. I believe you.
Hey, motherfucker! Get inside. And wear a mask. Oh shit,
Yes, sir, Samuel.
I'm back to my tattoo, bro.
Get back to work.
Peace out, everybody. Flat Earth.
You're
Around her.
Yeah.
Flat Earth, baby. Flat Earth? What the fuck? Dude, that's not like
I'm telling you could spend a couple hours on the coastline.
It's just the thousands of years of scientific research, I think, warrant more than a couple of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they already disproved it. Like, the Flat Earthers did it themselves on a Netflix documentary.
Really?
They, had a laser going outwards or whatever, and if the Earth was really flat, they wouldn't be able to see a certain signal or what have you, but they proved that the Earth is flat. And then, if the flight patterns, why would we going around certain ways? Like, if it was flat, what,
that, if I'm gonna try to prove something, I'm gonna test it before I throw it. Like, hey, let's do this laser beam thing, right? And then prove it before you. Yeah, I might want to try the laser beam thing before I go on TV. And
load the facts in your favor before you go out there. Jesus Christ, that God bless him, though.
No, he's a great artist.
God bless him, dude. Just look
Maybe
at the
these
body of work.
These artists have to be a little bit, unpredictable to be as good as they are.
Mm-hmm.
The artists have been artsy fartsy since day one, and so he's definitely an artist. He's a hell of a good artist. I mean, all my stuff is done by him.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a cool relationship you have to have with the tattoo artist, because that's part of him. Is now you and Keith, my old brother.
True.
It's like that is his art on you, and you're trusting him. Hey, make me more of me, I guess.
Right.
In a way.
I mean,
it's cool.
That's a pretty cool experience that you get to help someone express themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, you can dabble into everyone's family crest, if you will, or what they believe to the core that they're willing to put on their body permanently. You know what I mean?
That's a podcast into itself. Every tattoo on there. I like the Day of the Dead face on there. The art is just
the Familia, the Primos Barbershop, the Bullets, the Saints and Angels. Because I was going to go to heaven.
Mm-hmm. You were.
Well, yeah. Now I kind of wrote off sports for a minute until they get their act together.
It's all good. Just like put like a temporary tattoo
Yeah, I'm
over
just
it,
gonna
and
put,
then
you know, the Band-Aids.
yeah, there you
over
go.
there.
So circling back, kind of like one of the questions I had, like you've put in your service not only in the military but as a police officer, CHP. Do you feel betrayed at all by what's gone down with your business and just how? Because you've had a ton of support when you've gone out and you've protested cutting hair in front of the Vacaville City Hall, but just the way things kind of shook out, do you feel like you were done wrong?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you serve your country, you serve your state, you serve your community, and then in that service afterwards, because I mean, barbering is still a service, right? Mm-hmm. It's still something I love to do. It's a craft, but I serve a certain person or brand. I want law enforcement, military, and fire to always feel welcome in my shops. My shops, you know, our walls are covered with their patches and their all of my Marine Corps stuff, and I love law enforcement, fire, military. You know, I think you're especially badass if you're a Marine. Everyone else is just okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Even the Coast Guard.
Even the Coast Guard.
Let's
you
go.
know, like they're actually the Coast Guard has some really awesome missions.
Their videos. Did you see the one they jumped on the cartel submarine?
Did you see that little submarine, and the speedboats and all that. That's what I'm saying. So if I could do it all over again, I might have joined the Coast Guard because they have day-to-day real-life missions every single day. Mm-hmm. Where the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, we train and train and train, and maybe if we're lucky, we get to utilize our training.
At the end of the day, you guys are all like, there's a realization you're all there for the same reason. Like you're on the same team, and it's like there's an understanding. It's just hard for me to fathom how people can like badmouth say like first responders or like military service men and women because you've agreed to put your life on the line. Like I'm willing to die for the people that are.
As so many have. Like today's the 17th of November. I want to talk about James Capu.
Let's get into it.
Yeah,
James
Capu was a Marine. Married a beautiful woman named Jennifer Capu. They had 3 gorgeous daughters. They all grew up in Vacaville area.
Did you know him?
I did know James. Not very well because he was a Vallejo guy and I was CHP by the time. He was only CHP for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. But I did know him. I did some training over in Vallejo. I ran into him a couple times. A couple of my buddies were friends with him. And then Vacaville, as you know, is copland. I mean, every cop lives in Vacaville. Mm-hmm. No matter if they work in the Sacramento region or the Bay Area, they're all in Vacaville. Vacaville is a huge cop community.
Vacaville PD has been doing like a great job, though, from what I've heard. I
think they have. I think the Vacaville PD has done a real good job. Minus serving my shop with a cease and desist.
Right.
But minus that, they haven't done anything. They're well, okay. Well, let's talk about another thing.
I got you.
There was like 50 weapons stolen from a shooting a gun store one night.
No shit.
And they kind of dropped the ball on that. I would think. You know, like, hey, if the 2 places that are there's 2 gun stores in Vacaville, so when everything's shut down and the National Guard's posted somewhere, you probably want to post an officer or 2 at both of those locations.
Seems like
it just seems like a legit, reasonable thing to do when people are riding and breaking. I mean, Best Buy was broken into like 4 hours before, so it's like
in the Nuttery.
No, the Best Buy in Fairfield.
Oh, gotcha.
All the videos and stuff. So that night was a crazy night, but some 4 or 5 robbers broke into the Alamo firing range, fishing and whatever. Ammo, guns and ammo.
Yeah.
I think it was called.
Off the side of 80.
Yeah, off the side of 80. They got away with like 50 weapons. I think they recovered like 37 or something. But
that's not all of them.
It's not all of them. It's like you think you'd put a little bit more, thought process into the assets that are Vacaville need to be secure. I mean, if you're going to put someone in the outlets where people can steal clothing, you probably should put some in front of
the firearms and ammunition.
Ammunition place. So, I mean, but for the most part, Vacaville PD has done a great job. They're great officers. You're all young dudes, older dudes that are solid guys and girls that are just great. You couldn't live in a better community, a safer community.
Mm-hmm. Back to Capu. Capu?
Yeah, so Capu, he was going to a bank robbery in Vallejo, middle of the day, actually it was like morningish afternoon, I think, from what I remember. Anyways, in pursuit, I guess he sees one of the cars fleeing. He goes in pursuit by himself. never wavered from what he was called to do, or wasn't a coward by any means. Really loved and respected a coach for the Vallejo girls basketball, brought them to the championships. I mean, this guy was something else. Like, his and daughters are all athletes, and just a great member of the community. Actually, I think even him and his wife were going to adopt their friend's kids. I guess their friend and his wife got in a motorcycle fatality.
Jesus
so
Christ.
they're in the process of adopting those two kids. So this guy was just above and beyond a good dude. Not to mention a Marine, a former CHP officer, and a cop. Goes and he jumps a fence, and the guy's laying in wait. As soon as he jumps the fence, boom, shoots him. The bullet goes under his vest, and unfortunately he passes away. But this guy gave everything. So, and that was 9 years ago today. So we'd be remiss not to mention James Caput and all he sacrificed.
Mm-hmm. How old was he?
I would say he was in his mid-40s.
Yeah, young.
I think he was like a couple years from being able to retire, maybe like 4 or 5 years. I don't know the specs that well on him.
Mm-hmm.
But so his family started a foundation called Charge On. Primos Barbershop has given to the foundation, a great foundation. It donates $497, which is his badge number, $497 to any athlete that needs it to go to, like, I don't know, batting camp, jerseys for maybe
anything that'll help.
Anything that'll help youth sports.
Yeah.
And so his foundation is there, and so we've actually a good buddy of mine who's helping me make police patches for our barbershop. So we're going to sell each one of those patches, and then $10 from each patch is going to go towards that foundation.
That's awesome.
So we bought 300 patches. Hopefully, we sell all 300, and we can give the foundation around $3,000 worth of donation.
When are they going to be ready by?
They should be ready in about a week. We announced it today just because
They look dope.
yeah, they're pretty
sick.
cool. They have the thin blue line, the thin red line. They have my badge number. When we established Primos Barbershop and Eagle Glove and Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, Mr. Capu and I are both Marines, both highway patrolmen, both law enforcement. So it's just near and dear to my heart, and I think it's a great foundation. Youth sports has always been near and dear to me, and so hopefully we can get these kids back out in the field and playing again.
Yeah,
that's
just.
These poor kids can't play games.
I don't know how I'd feel because I was writing sports for the Winters Express.
That's right. You were.
Now there's nothing.
Is there any more Winters Express? Is that
There is. Absolutely.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Every week, baby. We're humming along. We got some good stuff coming out.
Dude.
Absolutely.
I'm talking like a journalist extraordinaire.
Just kind of got many hats.
Yeah.
I wanted to start doing a podcast for them too, but as
Really?
soon as that was good to go, but it's like literally the day before I was going to do a podcast with the oldest living woman in Winters,
Wow.
Bobby Greenwood. Bobby Greenwood pool at the high school. She taught everybody else. She taught Jesus how to swim.
Jeez.
This old lady.
Maybe
and
she taught him how to walk on water.
I think she taught him wrong. He fucked up. I was like, Bobby, you screwed up, dude. He's doing it wrong. But right beforehand, it was just no go. We couldn't go and do that anymore. So now I just do phone interviews and
We have
get it going.
there's a great guy in this community. His name's Jack Graff. Marine Corps captain, fought in Vietnam and in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to his house and be able to give him haircuts before this pandemic. And his family's, obviously he's an extremely old man, probably pushing 90. So, they had their concerns, and I understand.
Yeah.
But, so, here's another thing.
It's all about what you're comfortable with, right? Like,
It's
should it
all
be
about-
our right to choose?
See, listen, I don't want to die alone. Look, if I'm 75 years old and I'm in this danger zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple thought processes. One, if I haven't met you by 75, I don't give a about meeting you. You know what I mean? Like, you're my third grandkid for my 18th cousin, and okay, that's cool, yeah, whatever. If I'm 75, I'm cool. I've lived my life. I've done all the things I wanted to do. I'm happy with my kids. I love them all. I mean, there's no reason to live forever. You're not going to live forever anyways, right? So come over and give me a damn haircut, and let's talk about the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Let's talk about me being 109 years old, living in Winters, and slapping the mayor around when he was a little punk kid trying to steal my prunes out of my tree. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Like, these old guys.
Still my goddamn prunes out of my tree.
These old folks don't need to be dying alone.
No.
That's some bullshit. I mean, we can't go see our grandmothers. We can't go to their funerals. We can't comfort them in their last hours. Why? Because they have a cold? Like, old people die. It's not going to go. That's not going to stop just because we wear masks and quarantine, healthy people and keep everyone away from elderly people. That's no way to, like, I can guarantee you, if you asked an elderly person if they wanted to die alone or surrounded by their family.
Family. It's quality of life.
Yeah. And the little Johnny comes over and hugs on him and loves him and sneezes on him and, like, no one gets to live forever.
I went and saw my grandparents the other day, just like gave them elbows, like we had like dinner, but just to see them, you could tell they just want to see somebody, interact with them. I went golfing the other day. This old man came up and chatted with me and the girl I'm dating, and you could just tell like this is his social out. He goes to Davis 3 days a week, Woodland 4 days a week, and he just wants to talk to people. That's his social outing, and it comes to quality of life. Like if you like, okay, I'm safe, but I'm miserable. Like what's that trade-off? So I wanted to ask you as well. Like, what do you think the trade-off has been? Like, yes, I guess we're safe and home. We don't get it, but like the mental fatigue, the punch to the fucking gut of like our overall happiness as a society when we're just not only hating one another, we're stuck inside, we're fed bullshit news that I've been like the past couple weeks I've just wiped my hands clean of all politics. Like I don't want to. It's disgusting. And people they're turning on one another. There's so much hate. It's rampant. Is it all COVID that started it?
We've never seen the division like this. I don't know. Who knows, man?
I'm sure
it's been brewing, and this is just
this chance to like
like I said, like one side gets to pick like what's virtuous to them. The other side gets to say you. Nope, you're going to be doing this. Like, and now there's a power struggle with the presidency, and the Senate, and the Congress. So who knows exactly why?
It's all like has this been brewing? Was Trump the only one to bring it out? And even him, when people say I hate him, like so him as a person caused you to hate as much or more than him, or what you claim to be against him for.
150 million people voted, right? So you have 74 million, average voting, and so we're hundreds of thousands of votes difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's this close, and the polls lied to us, right? Because they said Biden was going to win by 10%, blah, 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 right? But it was really down to the wire. It was really like a line drawn in the sand. You pick the blue or the red. Which one are you? Which pill are you going to swallow, and which ones are you going to right? So the more people has voted than ever before, and we're divided right down the middle. So, this has been coming. And this was about an election. This is about, a side you wanted to pick, and so if 150,000 or 150 million people voted, that means 150 million plus didn't vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So only less than half of America is voting, right? But I don't know, man. Like, it seems so easy. It seems so easy to divide us. It just seems.
It's like
it was too easy.
I want to say like social media, and that also plays. I think that's been a long time coming and poisoning who we are and being like Mike Tyson said it best. Social media has gotten us way too comfortable with saying something and not getting punched in the face for it. You can bully somebody, you can say heinous, racist, awful things to somebody and face zero consequences. And how we don't even stop to think about how is this going to affect somebody else. Like I'm sure you've said things possibly you regret.
I mean, calls from like Nebraska, and these like, seriously old ladies from Nebraska, these old dudes from Montana, and they're like super against the fact that I'm opened up and you're gonna kill people, and I hope your children die.
I hope your children die.
And how you're ruining our country, like you're spreading disease throughout the community. So then I look up their name, and I'm like, this guy lives in fucking dumb Nebraska. Doesn't even fucking. Why are you part of the Vacavilian group in the first place? And did you really just? Is that all you got going for you? Is that you latched onto a barber in Vacaville?
Follow the Winters homepage. I don't follow it, but it's just a bunch of community members that have nothing better to do but bitch and complain about this smallest little. Why isn't there a crosswalk closer to Berryessa, like Sporting Goods or some shit? Like go to the crosswalk, walk around by the roundabout.
Small town bickering, but here's the thing: everyone has a platform.
That's true.
Everyone has a platform. We have a podcast, we have a platform, we have a social media, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, so we can all regurgitate whatever we feel is right. And And maybe that's what's divided us. This whole social media that's supposed to bring us together has really torn us apart.
There's been net positives, I'd say, with it, but overall, what it's turned into, I think, is some evil, truly evil shit, in terms of like one
And
bad comment could ruin somebody's
instant
day.
access that everyone has to everything? Like, our children have instant access to anything they want. They don't have to ask us adults our opinions anymore. They don't have to ask their family or learn their family values. They don't have to learn their family's, religious background or cultural background or anything, because they have instant access and they can see what they want and what they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that they want is a lie, and everything that they don't want is because you got to work for it. No one wants to work for it.
Material things are so... It's like, oh, I want that because I can visualize it, rather than, say, a career to pursue or something intangible that you want to get.
District attorney in Contra Costa,
I haven't heard about that.
She's a black lady. She's the head district attorney of Contra Costa, and she says, well, when you guys are starting to... When she's talking about law enforcement, when you're writing your reports and you're thinking about prosecuting these people and bringing charges on them, you must think that I want you to bear in mind if they needed what they stole and rioted for and looted. Like, that's you have the head law enforcement personnel that in charge of whether you're going to go to jail or not, now saying like, hey, well, maybe they needed what they rioted and looted for. Like,
how'd that resonate with you? Like, do you agree with that?
I couldn't believe it. Like we're gonna. So if I needed these microphones and I don't, because I don't have my own microphones, I could just jack you and that's cool.
Don't do that. That's bad.
Yeah, like it resonates like we're giving everyone an excuse to do whatever they want and there's no consequences. And that's, again, we're going back to the whole no consequences. If there's no consequences, then it's a free-for-all.
I had a buddy, he was living in like SoCal, like in LA. He worked for Sony, and he came back home to Stanislaus because he was in Santa Monica. Nice place. He'd see celebrities from time to time, but now it is just flooded with homeless people, and there's cops just on the side. They're told, stand down. People are looting, breaking windows, and just causing a ruckus. It's anarchy. And he's like, why am I going to stay here, spend $5,000 a month, crazy rent, the same cost, for the quality of life is just,
and that's
quality of living.
That's why these major cities are ghost towns now. When we go to San Francisco,
I don't
the
want to go
homeless
there.
have overtook it. You know, the needles, they outlaw freaking straws, but if you open the storm drains, it's full of freaking heroin needles.
Hell yeah! I've seen like even before all this, I remember down there is
human
just
everywhere.
Yeah,
it smells like like no one wants to go to Pier 39 anymore. It stinks.
I used to love that place, man.
I drove by the CHP office on my way to my state, hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And right next door to the CHP office where I used to work, there's a homeless encampment. A full homeless encampment. Like
just a community.
Just a community. And then the CHP guys are pulling right out of the freaking office, and it's like, oh, hey guys. Yeah, they must have been told at some point to leave them alone.
Mm-hmm. What are you supposed to do? Like my buddy's SFPD pretty much said, like, yeah, you can arrest these guys that are camped out on the sidewalk. Nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna pay no fees. You're gonna lock them up maybe for a night. They're back out the next day. Like, it's just a waste of money, waste of time.
It's a waste of money, time. And they almost passed that no bail rule where I think it was like Prop 25 where they were trying to get illegal, because bail was racist, right? So because I'm a poor Latino man and you're a wealthy white guy, a middle class white guy, you get to bail, but I don't. How dare you? That's so racist.
There's no common sense. Like it's like if we're truly equal, why does it
Governor Newsom
all be so?
Because he's a dumbass, right? Let's pretend for 1 second we recall him, and he put himself back on the ballot. Guess who's gonna win the election? Governor Newsom's gonna win.
Really?
I'll bet $1 million on it, bro.
Why so?
This state has gone too far.
People hate California. I think it's renowned. We're the most hated state.
Maybe they're like, you know what? Let's just keep this guy here and let him destroy it all the way down to the bare bones. Because that's what he's doing. That guy doesn't give two fucks about us. Here's my prediction. Let's say Biden wins. Kamala is going to take his spot in 6 months. Easy.
Once he keels over.
Yeah, the guy has dementia, oncoming Alzheimer's or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a mess. I don't like the man, but I have empathy because my adopted father, that's how he passed away, was Alzheimer's and dementia. Mm-hmm. When I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, this guy has the same shit, right? So, Joe Biden's president for 6 months, does whatever he's told. Kamala comes into power. Like the only Democrat in the runoff that didn't get less than 1% of the Democratic vote, but somehow she's president now because.
To say I want you to be my vice president because you are a black woman. To say I want a black female as it's not off of merit. I'm sure she has
nothing's
the
been off of
accolades.
merit. She dated Willie Brown to get the DA position in San Francisco. She's
I didn't know
followed Gavin
any of
Newsom
that.
to the governor's house. Like these people are California state. I mean, all of our politicians are dumbasses. Nancy Pelosi gets to go have her hair done. Freaking Newsom.
Hey, that was a setup.
Oh, that was
a
yeah. That
goddamn
poor lady was
setup.
set up. Yeah. But you know who's to blame for that? It's not Gavin Newsom who's to blame. It's not Nancy Pelosi. It's not freaking Kamala Harris. It's not even Dianne Feinstein or Barbara Boxer or whoever wants, or Garamendi here in our own towns, right? It's these damn Californians that keep on voting for them over and over and over, right? And these so-called good Californians that want to like leave because we're sick of the restrictions, we're sick of the rules. The state is so anti-guns and whatever, right? Then they move to these awesome states like Oregon. They move to these other states, and then they vote in the same exact freaking laws. Like, why do you think the people in Ohio or Idaho and Tennessee don't want us there? Because they know that Californians are freaking stupid, and we're going to go take their red state and make it blue because it makes us feel better.
I visited my buddy in Boise, and there's plenty of bumper stickers that made it's abundantly clear Californians are not wanted. They're not wanted anywhere.
They're not wanted, but
and
then
it sucks.
And they make the prices raise everywhere. I mean, Idaho used to be...
We're refugees.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But we're dumb refugees, like I said. We're so dumb that we're fleeing these things only to go vote for them in other states and ruin those states.
Why do you think
Texas
that
is almost blue
That's wild.
because of all the California idiots.
Why do you think that the mindset
I don't
is
know.
such? Like, why
Part
is
of me
it?
thinks like, okay, good. I'm glad Gavin Newsom's in charge because all he can do is keep the pendulum keep on going to the left, right? I thought at some point the pendulum was all the way to the left, but apparently it's not. We still got a little bit more room to go, right? But only until we hit this certain ceiling where the pendulum can't go any more left will the left be like, oh fuck, we went too far, and then our only direction is to go back. I mean, that's the only thing I can daydream about. And
I can't even pretend to know that I know enough about like politics or the way it's swinging and how it's going. I know that sticking my head in the sand like an ostrich isn't going to help. I need to be more informed. But just from the outside looking in, objectively, it's just I don't like what I see. I don't
What
like
if the city of
division
Winters
people.
decided not to listen to these?
I was honestly thinking
restrictions?
to keep our small business, to keep this town alive, to keep us alive.
What
there
if
needs to
Steady
be
Eddie's
ways to
actually
go.
decided, you know what, we are going to allow, it's cold out, we're going to allow a couple people to sit inside of our coffee house and have coffee, and we're not going to let anyone bother them. And what if the city police were like, you know what, they're free citizens, they know the risk, we're going to leave them alone. And what if the city manager and the city code enforcers were like, you know what, these are grown-ass adults, they can figure it out. And what if the school board decided, you know what, our kids need to learn it. It's more detrimental, there's more suicide, there's more mental health issues, there's more risk of keeping our kids at home, more child abuse, you name it, right? Domestic violence. Let's give their kids a safe place to come back to school, and let's just get back. What if they did that? Who's going to stop them?
I'd want to say the fallout of the lockdown and all of its implications, all the restrictions, has been far more detrimental than Corona could ever have dreamed of. In terms of like it's killing people, but what's happening to our psyche?
No one wants to stop it. No one. Mel and freaking Carla over there. They're. I mean, like the Turkovich family, like Carbonis, the Buckhorn. All these. Everyone's just like, oh okay, like.
Are they just scared they're gonna get shut down and get their license suspended? I mean,
the city license costs what, $98 a year? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna threaten me with a $98 piece of paper? I could transfer it over to my grandson, and then when that grandson's name goes to shit, I can transfer it to my next grandson.
Just keep pumping them out. Keep pumping them out, Juan.
What if we just stopped letting the government tell us what unconstitutional things to do and took it into our own hands and said, hey, you're paid to govern. We need to fix our roads. We need to keep our lights on. You need to make decisions about bridges and fucking the tree lighting and govern.
We're not going to have our fucking...
Govern. You don't have to tell us what to do. We paid our fees.
Yeah.
We've met our rules and regulations. Let us stay open and provide for our families and provide somewhere safe and somewhere good for the community to go to. What if... But everyone talks... I've been this stand your ground kind of bastard on social media and everywhere, and I swear 100 people a day are like, hey Juan, we support you so fully, don't close, please don't close, blah blah blah, like if I owned my own business I would stay open too, blah blah blah. Oh hey man, small businessman, whatever you're doing is great, it's awesome, thank you so much, blah 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 blah, right? I'm like, cool, are you gonna stay open?
No, maybe next pandemic.
It's like, dude, I mean, I'm grateful for the support. I really am. I really love our community. I love all the supporters. I truly do. But I wish I met more people with some balls. I wish I wish I could give these businesses to Marines that didn't give a fuck. I wish I could give them to well-armed citizens that would not allow. I wish the police department would back these citizens. I wish all the agencies around would back the citizens and just not allow this to go on any further.
You think that would cause discourse if the police said, you know what, like, fuck government, that we're supposed to uphold these laws and all that?
Because they swore. They didn't swear an oath to Governor Newsom. They didn't swear an oath to Ron Rowlett. They didn't swear an oath to the chief of police. They swore an oath to the Constitution. And the California Constitution is clear, I believe, honestly, it's clearer than the National Constitution as far as small business is concerned. Because in the National Constitution, you have the right to, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right?
Right.
And so then you can interpret it. Okay, well,
I've heard that before.
Right. Well, raising my family and keeping my shop open creates my happiness, so I have a right to it, right? Okay, cool, right? But then you got to go to all these legalities, blah blah. Well, the California Constitution says you have the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, as well as assets. It says it.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Like all your property?
Yeah, your property. You're allowed to obtain and hold on to assets and property and wages. So all these officers need to remember that. They swore an oath to the Constitution. They swore the same oath that we all swore. And it's not to a person. It's not to a governor. It's not to the sitting party. They didn't swear an oath to that. They swore an oath to their constituents who fall under the Constitution of California. And that's the crazy thing. It's like, but everyone's just falling into line. Like, I'm the mayor of Winters, and I'm like, hey, you guys need to go enforce those rules. Like, what rules? What laws? What if the police department said that? Like, hey, I'm the mayor of Winters, and I saw someone over at City, and he's sitting inside not wearing a mask. You guys need to go do something about it. I'm like, okay, what do you propose that I do about it, Mr. Mayor? Well, you need to enforce the laws. What laws, Mr. Mayor?
Arrest them for not, like...
Oh, they're not in compliance with a mandate. Okay, what is the mandate? Where's the enforcement power for that? We don't have it? Oh, okay, well then we're not going to do it, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Like, have they enforced, like a version of pandemic martial law that states, like, this is going to happen? Well, I haven't paid attention.
They have. They gave the governor 60 days of emergency powers, right?
Right.
Those 60 days were up, March, April? Like, it's called May 1st. And that's why he lost his court battle, was because he's overreached. He's overreached because after your emergency powers are exhausted, they give you a time limit. It's clearly cut out. Then you have to go to the legislators and ask an assembly of legislators, which California has 253 legislators? I don't know exactly. But it's a lot. There's a big assembly. There's a lot of California's a huge state. So then ask them, okay, hey guys, I think that there should be a law in place for masks. What do you think? And let's vote it into law. If they would have done that and voted into law, then really I have no foot to stand on. But they haven't. They haven't voted any of this into law. It's all still mandates and guidelines. You know what I mean?
Do you think that the cajones it took to stand up, because it didn't seem like you're kind of phased by it. It was just, this is who I am, like staying open. How much of that do you contribute to the Marine Corps versus how much that's already part of you, or did the Marines and just your service kind of bring that out?
I think the Marines got lucky in me. I'm a stubborn asshole. So they just honed my stubbornness and helped me learn how to focus that stubbornness into getting stuff done. You know, they gave me the discipline I absolutely needed. I owe 100% of who I am as an adult, the good version of me.
When did you realize that
comes from the Marine Corps?
When did that like kind of like that switch flip? Okay, I don't need to be a shithead. I can turn this, I guess, aspect of who I am, my stubbornness, into a positive energy.
The second I walked into the recruiting office,
You felt it.
when the recruiter said, "What the are you doing in my office with an earring on? Get the out."
With a what? You had an
An
earring?
earring. I had 2 earrings and one up top, right?
Oh.
And he's like, "Get the out of here!" And so I literally didn't even get to say a word. And this guy, and you know, you think as a kid like, "Oh, they want me, right? They need to make numbers." But the Marine Corps tactic has recruiting has a great tactic where they feel like they make you feel like they don't want you and they don't need you, right? And maybe they really don't need me, right? But I needed the Marine Corps way more than the Marine Corps needed me. I'll tell you that. So just that natural stubbornness in me was like, oh shit, you know, like I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna come back in. So I come back in and the door, and he's like, "What do you want?"
Like the same day?
Yeah,
You just took off your earrings?
I went outside, took off my earrings, and tried to go back in the door. Right? So what do you want? I'm like, "Oh, I want to be a Marine." He's like, "No, you don't. Get the out of here. Go talk to the Army and the Navy, and come talk to me when you realize you don't. You know, like he's like, you won't make it." And so this reverse psychology worked for me, right? Like, again, the Marine Corps is looking for a certain type of male. They're looking for a certain type of stubborn person that can dig deep and charge on, and that their skin is not so soft and thin that they're going to be easily scared away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, being a group home kid, and you know, I already had that in me, right? So, and I think that recruiter might have even saw it the very first second with the way my eyes turned angry or whatever. And he's like, and so I'm like, "No, I want to be a Marine." Like he's like, "No, you don't." Like, "I want to be a Marine." You know, so I stood my ground. He's like, "Okay, come on, let's go and talk."
So he tested you.
So he
tested
it was a
you.
test, and so the second that he did that, I knew, like, I have to be. Now it's not even about wanting to be. It's like I have to prove it to him. I have to prove it to my brothers. I have to prove it to this family. I have to prove it for my future kids. So
Did your older brother influence you? Like, did he join before you?
Yeah, my brothers both joined before me. I had 2 brothers in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
They weren't hardcore killers like me. They were just like, one guy was a jet engine mechanic, and the other
What a
guy
pussy.
He's a pussy. And the other one is my brother Joe, my best friend. He was a unit diary, and then he went on to go Marine Corps security guard at the embassies. So another pussy. No, they both probably kick my ass. But that's like really, so only 1/3 of the Marine Corps is in the infantry. The rest is support, right?
What's a pogue? My buddy Yvonne always says, "Oh, pogue."
So
that's a
infantry
bitch-ass,
infantry guys are called grunts, and pogues are person other than grunts. Pogue. so like when you're a grunt, everything you do surrounds around making fun of pogues.
Right.
So then you make fun of your other fellow Marines, like, oh, like he sees you with Skittles in your hand, right? Like, what do you got? Some pogey bait? Like, oh, is that some pogey? That's some pogue ass boots you got.
Is it just to get them to like influence and be grunts, or just it's that
No,
just
it's
the way
that
it's
grunts
the
are,
pecking order?
we put ourselves above them. Not necessarily because we are, because they're going to always come back and it's like, yeah, well, to be a grunt, you only have to have like a 31.
Enjoy eating your crayons.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your favorite color crayon to eat?
I didn't get it. That was a thing before or after my time.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah,
Marines are just so.
Yeah, that was it's like probably like the last 10 years I've heard this crayon thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
It's just a funny little.
Yeah. Before, I mean, they would call us
Fun color
jarheads and bullet sponges and
Did you see Jarhead?
yeah, good movie.
That was a solid movie.
Good movie.
Loved it. I kind of, I don't know, when I went in, I remember going in to see it and expecting this action thriller, but it kind of like, what is this? Some realistic bullshit?
Yeah,
Where they're sitting
yeah.
around watching Air Force just bomb everything, and then they try to get one shot. Then
Yep, I mean that's
Nothing.
that was more real life.
Desert Storm. What was there a conflict going on when you were enlisted?
Yeah, I was in when 9/11 happened.
No.
So and then I was stationed in the Middle East for a year, and
What was that experience like?
it was great. It's probably the best time of my life. I love
The best time of your life in
it.
war.
I mean, you don't want to join and not do what you're trained to do. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, but young Marines they want to be tested. They want to be tried. You know what I mean?
Is that like
And-
the training that instills? Because for me, it's like I'd be afraid to die, right? But it's like you can be trained all this way, but if you don't go out, I'd be like, oh man, you dodged a bullet. But you guys want to go over there. You want to go test your
Yeah.
valor, yeah?
I mean, I hope no Marine wants to die, right? That's not
Right.
But I will tell you something, like, whether it was law enforcement or the Marine Corps, I always had this romantic thought of sacrifice. You know what I mean? And I mean, I didn't die, right? I didn't die as a cop. I didn't die as a Marine. But I always have the utmost respect for those who lay down their lives for the freedoms of others. And I feel like it makes them larger than, because it's something bigger than you when you sacrifice like that. And so every man and every woman who dies serving their country, serving their community, serving their state, and some sort of first responder, I feel deserves a Medal of Honor.
Absolutely.
You know, because that's the most honorable thing you can do is lay down your life for your brothers and for the people who don't even know you.
I can't even
People
comfort that.
You know, they on us every day and they spit on us, whatever. These poor cops. I mean, if you see these cops on the front lines,
they're battered,
screamed and yelled at, bricks thrown at them. You know,
it's very. It disgusts me to see like a video, like a cop's opening up his door and somebody toss like the top of a trash can and knocks him out. Like, and people are cheering that on. It's just
people are cheering. I mean, people are cheering. Like these same people that want us to stay home and wear a fucking mask because their grandmother's susceptible to this disease over in New Jersey. They're the same people that are going to these Trump rallies, and as these old, elderly people are walking to their cars,
they attack
fucking
them,
cold cock them, and knock out these people's grandmothers, right? So that, you know what I mean? Like, I hope no one.
But we can't make that same. It's just how we don't want people to judge every cop based off of one. There's only a couple of these shitheads that are doing this, giving. I'm sure the majority of people that are like on the left or maybe anti-cop possibly, they're not going to want the death of them. They want better cops. They want better trained.
Do they?
It's like it can't. I don't want to be a hypocrite thinking that like not one of them represents all of them.
If you took it literally, like defund the police, if you took that literally, okay,
I can't
fine,
get down with that.
Fine, let's defund them. Let's take some of the money and send it to social workers, and those social workers can talk down the bad guys somehow, some way, I guess. Right? So let's defund the police, but that's not what these kids are calling for.
No.
When they spray paint, all cops are bastards and all cops should die. That's beyond. Oh, like, hey, I just feel some sort of way. I just feel there should be more social justice in this world, right? That's beyond that. You've gone beyond that. So if you've spray painted that anywhere, if you've had that on your Instagram page, if you then I don't think you deserve the services that are given.
No, you don't
know what?
deserve
Next
to dial
time you
911.
need a fucking cop, you better not dial 911. You better handle business. Go buy a gun. Go get some training. Even though you're against guns, I guess, right?
Of course.
If you're on the left, right? But and that's another thing. Gun sales have gone up like 5 million%
really
in the last since COVID. I think they said 79% of gun sales were from Democrats. Because like all of a sudden they're realizing like, oh shit, we're talking the talk. Yeah, like I've even had some of my friends on the left like, hey, which gun should I buy? Like, oh, all of a sudden, now you want to.
I'll give you a slingshot. How about that? My buddy told me that the blue line flag is actually representative of every fallen cop. It's supposed to be a memorial symbol, but people are seeing it as okay, this is police versus like pro-police killing black people, and that's all it stands for. But it sickens me.
Completely 100% not true. The thin blue line flag has been around since I was a cop. So I was 2003, 2004.
I thought it was like a recent
it's
thing.
been around forever, and everyone knows that even like when the 9/11, when those buildings collapsed, what did they exchange those for? They had two big blue lights going up in the sky because all those cops and all those firemen sacrificed, right? So that's the thin blue line. It's like the idea is that if you took the entire number of cops versus the entire number of citizens in this country, it's a small, minute amount. It's not a lot. Like people, I mean, even the city of Vacaville maybe has 200 cops. Let's just be a little bit generous and say 200 cops, right? Wow. And there's 120,000 people in the city of Vacaville, right? So you want them to hold a line. I mean, that's a thin line to hold, and sometimes you can only hold lines with force, right? And that's why they have non-lethal force. They have tear gas. They have rubber bullets. They have shields. They have batons. They have all this stuff, right? Because they have to hold that line. We ping them. You and I are paying them to hold the line and keep these evil people from coming into our businesses and destroying them, from coming to our gun shops and stealing these weapons, from coming to these rallies and keeping everyone's First Amendment rights safe, right? We're paying these guys and girls to do it. And we have this high expectation that they're going to do it. And we have even now an absurd expectation that they can do it with Jedi mind tricks and not use any force or violence.
No, they need, it's once people see the shield and the armor, they think, okay, we're in a dystopia now. Like the cops are looking, they're fascists.
They're looking for a fight.
They're looking for it, and it's the narrative. They're dehumanizing cops to be these like fanged, vicious killers that all they want is anarchy. And like, I'm sure there are cops like that, but there's like you said about barbers. There's people in every group, and we can't like sit there and judge the whole by like these few. Like there's cops I'm sure like pissed off that this one asshole from Minnesota gave all. They're all going through.
There are definitely bad cops, and then there's bad training, and then there's bad administrators, and then there's bad. There's probably even some cops that are like, hey, look, we've been doing it like this since 1973 when I joined the department. Why I don't see why things need to change. Well, come on, like things change.
Absolutely.
People change. Society changes. Let's get some good training in there. Let's instead of defunding the police, let's fund the police and let's get them some great training. Let's get them some great tools. Let's get them some more great non-lethal weapons. Let's get them more dogs. Let's get them more robots. Let's get them more, give them assets and things that they can use that don't necessarily involve
into death. Like finish the situation before people get a chance to.
Let's also give them some respect again. Let's respect the fact that they're making a decision when a guy points a gun at them. They react. So it's never the cop. Cops don't. It's hardly.
It's an impossible job. It's an impossible job.
You have to react to what's going on, and now they're saying, "Hey, wait even longer." And let's wait till you get shot and killed, and then hopefully your partners react.
Just send in the report from hell or heaven or wherever you're at.
No big deal. We'll give you like a nice little funeral. Most people won't show up.
It's too late. It's too late. Oh Jesus! Oh, you're painting the picture on.
We'll put a little statue that's gonna be spray painted with BLM all over it.
There's no
what's the incentive to be a cop anymore?
Nothing.
There is none.
Literally nothing.
Like I said, I wouldn't want my kids or your kids to do it. And like I said, I also feel like shame on these departments for not having these guys back because they really don't. That's the scariest part of being a cop is your own department's out there headhunting you.
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
Oakland
PD has 73 internal investigation detectives and like 3 or 4 homicide detectives.
Really?
Shows you their priority, right? They're hunting cops from within.
It's trying to maybe appease the masses and like ease the scrutiny on them because like the magnifying glass is on them tenfold. Anything you do, anything you say, everything's on. Everybody has their phone up. Everybody's looking to not only. I guarantee you, the majority of people don't give a flying about what the cop does. They care so they can go viral. So their video will make them famous. I was there and captured it. It's a selfish incentive.
But videos are a good and bad thing, right? So you can have a cop that turns his body cam and it shows you this guy was a clear and present danger. He had a gun, he was pointing at me, and I got him and I killed him first. Mm-hmm. But no one cares about that video. They care was that cop white and was that bad guy black or brown?
If it was truly equal, would that matter? Is it not just this is a cop killing a citizen?
Right. You never hear there's no riots. What about these white cats that get shot by cops, right? And there's white cops or white people that get killed by white cops. Mm-hmm. I don't know their names. Do you? But I know Floyd's name, right? I know all these guys' name because of some sort of racial discrepancy that the world is. The media's feeding it. It's sexy now.
It turns
the racial divide is sexy for them. They're selling.
It's profitable.
It's profitable. These news media agencies are making so much money.
I heard this on like a TED Talk the other day, whereas the news outlets, they're a business, and when they get X amount of like views, okay, the advertiser is going to pay more regardless. Okay, so here's our story. The truth doesn't necessarily have to be the truth as long as the money keeps coming in, and as long as people keep watching, the advertisers are going to pay. The more viewers we got, the more money we'll get.
And so think about this too. What if they get caught in a lie? What a scandal! Let's sell the story.
They were set up.
They were set up. What a scandal! Let's sell the story. Oh yeah, like look, we'll get the conservatives by the crazy now because Pelosi was caught in and so they're gonna look at it and we're gonna profit just the same.
That's why I'm truly like looking for an objective like news source to say like talk to you I would love to talk to like somebody who's like more liberal. Let's talk to your brother. Right. I want to get both sides of the story and like are just a full spectrum of thoughts and how people feel about things. And it's just
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think everyone should get everyone's side of the story.
At least be willing to have a conversation.
Right.
Where people is like, no, you think this way. Like, so I see like this kind of world where there's two people.
The hard part is that everyone wants to paint the story that they hear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would honestly say it probably frustrates a lot of people that I'm not a white man. Because...
You're not?
Yeah.
God damn it,
Because
Juan.
I don't fall in line with... I mean, I have 22-year-old little girls texting me on my Primos Instagram page like, you sellout, you're not a real when you're not part of our...
You've pissed off everybody, Juan.
I'm like, so now my lineage, because I'm a conservative, right? Now my lineage, I don't get to be proud of being Latino.
I was gonna ask, what has it been like being on the
card? That'd be like a woman trying to take my man card. You don't get to take my man card. You're not a man, right? Maybe another man can take my man card, right?
My mom took my little brother's man card at one point. He was little. He couldn't open up a bottle of ketchup at Buckhorn. My mom, she's a rancher, like nice and easy. Whoop, took it. But I was gonna ask what has it been like having the national spotlight on you, having so many people to like randomly just say, I want your kids to die. You're not a Latino. Like it's like you've done you've ruined these people's lives for some reason.
Yeah, totally. I mean, part of me thinks it's awesome that they're spending hours and hours and hours thinking about me.
It's gonna be you're like, you're thinking of Juan.
Thank you.
Yes.
but honestly, it's like there's no rhyme or reason. I think that most people, the reason why they don't want to stand up is they're not willing to take that abuse. If you're not scarier than my Marine Corps drill instructor, then your abuse means zero to me. So for me, it's like, go ahead. I mean, that's it.
I've had worse. You want my kids to die? What about my grandma?
Yeah, like you're like, oh fuck your mom. My mom's already dead, but you want to fuck her? That's weird.
Ew.
But like, so people can't get me. Like I've worked the streets. I've worked in jails. I've worked as a Marine. Like if you can't thrash me harder than those guys, then your little 22-year-old opinion doesn't matter to me at all.
And there's like, at 22, you're still like a baby. I mean, I just turned 30. I still feel relatively like a kid.
There's like 16 and 17-year-olds on wasting their time on Instagram. But you know what? I try to take a step back and be like, these poor kids are bored as fuck.
Yeah.
They're not at school. They have no little Johnny chasing after them. They don't have like little Susie that loves them. Like they don't have the social. So all they can do is delve in, and maybe that's part of the sell. Like let's keep them home and let's keep them interactive. I mean, all these people out there protesting, tons of them are kids, like little kids that shouldn't be out protesting. I mean, Kenosha, 17-year-old kills 3 people.
That's crazy.
I mean, like these kids should be at home. If my 16-year-old tried to go out and do a riot, I'd beat his ass. You know what I mean? But so like part of me is like, these kids are just super bored, and I don't care what they say. Like.
So I think that's a really valuable thing you just said, is to put yourself in the shoes of the other. Why are they saying this? What is their mindset right now? Not only are they not in school, they're Zooming. I needed help after class at school. I needed sports to keep me accountable. I needed the entirety of that high school experience. They're getting nothing. I don't know what I would do.
Proms.
I would lose my mind.
So these angry little girls can, if that's what they needed to vent, whatever, I don't care, right? I know for a fact none of them are going to come to my shop or my house and try anything. I know that. But I've had big, scary men threaten to come kick my ass on it. Hey, bro, you know where my shop is? But I already know you're not going to really do it. You're going to be this brave warrior behind a keypad. But you know what? So the national spotlight, all it's done for me is make my business thrive. It's made my logo thrive. It's made my say more so. So like,
What was the positivity
Yeah, it's
been?
done more good than all public. I mean, a guy like Trump understands this too. All publicity is good publicity. You want to call Juan, the Mexican barber, a racist? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just making it relevant. You're just making me more relevant. You know what I mean? You want to say I'm fat, piece of shit? Go ahead. Like, but you had to sit there and think about that. You know what I mean? Because my name and my logo is still relevant in your mouth, right? So, the national spotlight, as cruddy as it is, I couldn't have paid for this kind of media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're
this is
getting it.
cost me millions of dollars. You know what I mean? To get, I mean, I'm sending my shirts and hoodies and hats and beanies and stickers, and you know, people are coming from out of state to just come get a haircut at Primos. You know, like, so on some level, standing your ground had definite consequences, but some of them were good consequences.
I would say that for every, say, like thousands or like just flood of negative comments and whatnot, I think just for me, like one good comment or somebody saying, "Hey, man, like I appreciate you made my day." Like that's got to really,
I will say this too.
The affirmation's got to be great.
There's way more positive than there is negative.
That's good to hear.
It's easy to focus on the negative.
Yeah.
And it gets me all charged up and more stubborn, which in turn helps me do things right. But there is way more positive. There's way more positive stuff coming my way than negative.
What's that been like? How's that made you
It's been
feel?
awesome. Like I'm getting patches from all over the nation, coins. You know, I have other barbers from all the way in New York that are very influential guys that are hitting me up, asking to talk with me. It's neat.
That's dope.
It's neat. You know, I'm gonna probably run for mayor on the platform that, you know, like.
Winners are Vacaville.
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 Yeah, I live in Vacaville.
You get Sherry to help because you're supporting her too, right?
Yeah.
What was her last name? Malberg.
Yeah, she lost.
That sucks because she's.
Yeah, she
she's
lost a good
nice
guy.
lady.
His name's Jason Roberts. Great guy, patriot, warrior, Democrat, just like my brother. You know, like I said, I have no hate for the other party. It's just that, it's just like that. The extremists on either party is. It's just hard to deal with. Like, there's no more. Like I said, I wish there was moderation. I wish there was bipartisanship.
Mm-hmm.
We would get a lot more done. But yeah. So my goal is to run for the mayor position in 2022 against Ron Rowlett. I think he's a poor leader. I think he's a liar. And I can't stand poor leadership. And I can't stand liars. And so, whether I win or not, that makes no difference. I'm just going to run. I think that barbers and small shop owners should be considered relevant. Listen, we're the oldest industry in the whole wide world, other than prostitution.
I was gonna say, is Primos gonna get into like Primos Pros or something? If
we lived in Nevada, Primo Ranch.
Get over there. It's the best. Come on, right next to the Bunny Ranch.
Man, I should open a shop there first.
A different kind of haircut, you know, just something real nice.
Manscaped.
Either way,
yeah.
carpets match the drapes.
So I'm gonna get involved in a little bit of politics. You know, like. And you know, the real reason I'm going to do it is because I said I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's
you've gone too far.
Yeah, I've said I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I promise you that I'm only going to seek one term. I don't want to do multiple terms because I want to be. My platform is, hey, I want to be in a position where I'm not scared of my next election results.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't going to drive me to make good or bad decisions. You know what I mean?
I'm doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now. And if I need to stand up for the community, I will, right? Where Ron Rowlett won't because he's so worried about his next election, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's unwilling to make hard decisions that are pro small businesses, pro, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I feel like marijuana should be totally legal and allowed in Vancouver. There's no reason
Now you're
why
talking.
all this money from taxes that Dixon's getting, that Vallejo's getting, there's no reason. Vancouver has plenty of people that want to smoke marijuana legally.
They have enough smoke shops
You know
and
how
glass
much
stores. Jesus
money
Christ.
we could bring in
A lot.
tons of money.
Shout out to 420 F Street in Davis.
Hey, you know
it's
what?
the spot.
I was a law enforcement officer for a long time, and we dealt with alcohol. I don't think weed's any better or worse than alcohol.
I feel like cops should be able to smoke.
Yeah,
I mean, not on the job,
Not
but
on
it's
the
like
job,
in terms
not
of
on the
like
job.
a coping or just a.
the hard part about
relax.
marijuana for law enforcement, like cops can go and drink their asses off all they want, and they do, in fact.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they can be up and drunk, but as long as they know when they have to sober up by and have that blood clear by. Marijuana is a tricky animal because if I smoke weed 3 days ago, I'm completely sober, unimpaired, and I get into an altercation, maybe even a shooting, and they take my blood, they're going to find the marijuana in there.
Until they develop a way to, like, a spontaneous, like, this is the day, or they can tell, all right, they can't carbon-date the blood in a way where it's like, okay, he was high this day, but not this day.
I think it's too risky for any law enforcement officer to smoke weed while they're in that career. Unless they do develop something. I'm down to invest in that.
It's 2020, damn it. Let's get there.
They cured COVID. They got a vaccine in less than, a year? They can carbon-date freaking marijuana.
Yeah.
Something.
Like, I just think it's... I want to say they're evils. It's all how you use it.
And
Alcohol,
maybe
weed.
Chill the out and smoke some weed.
If the riders and then the riot police just all right, put everything down. Everybody sit in Native American form. Pass a giant blunt around and talk about family.
Spraying people with bear spray. Just like
CBD,
CBD oil, everyone.
Dude, I think what if everybody shared a blunt? All right, every protester for every cop, go and talk about your family. Talk about what you want.
That's how we could fund the police, right?
With weed,
we could fund the police with the millions and millions of dollars we're gonna make in tax revenue off of marijuana. Easy, and we could fund the fire departments, and we could fund the social workers that we need, and the low-income housing we need to keep the bums off the street. We could do so much and all we would be doing is creating a space where it's already legal.
I would love more funding the police, get programs that get into these impoverished communities or these ghettos that not only connect the cops with the community but get kids interested in becoming cops so they can protect the community they're from.
Bringing awareness to youth sports and the importance of having our kids outside and healthy, right? Let's make it even a bigger thing. Let's fund free sports for kids so they can get their fat little butts off the Switch and come out and play ball.
Switch PS5, baby.
Oh,
come on now. Hey, but yeah, I guess you can make a career. That's a different podcast.
But you know what I'm saying?
I hear you though, for sure.
Then we'll have healthier kids and we'll have to less worry about COVID-19.
My folks put the kibosh on. I got the N64 I was getting fatter and fatter. They said, only on weekends, you little now go outside and play. Go get some scabs on your knees or something, whatever.
So I feel like a platform of one term, pro-marijuana in the city, pro-law enforcement, pro-sports, pro-veterans. I mean, there's no reason why any veteran in the city of Vacaville who owns a small business should be paying a business license fee. If the city of Dixon and Wairika and other podunk cities give veterans free business licenses, then why?
They do.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Dixon
I love
and Wairika, two cities, Winters and Vacaville actually don't. Which is kind of disappointing. We're supposed to be a super friendly, pro-veteran community, and we're not even offering. I mean, what is it? It's going to take $98 out of the city coffers just to show your support for what they've done and served.
I think we spend money on sillier than it not only encourages veterans all right, hey, if you're say down and out, whatever's going on in life afterwards, we don't all the problems there. This gives more purpose. It gives you something to wake up.
And it shows the veteran community, which is huge in Vacaville, that you're loyal to them. Right. So there's a lot of things that need to change in the city of Vacaville. I'm not saying I'm gonna change everything, but I'd love a stab at it. Right?
Get the wheel turning a little bit and get influence people with.
Right. So I think the mayor position is a great position to go for.
That'd be dope.
We'll see.
More podcasts in store. I think did you announce it last time we were on?
I think so. I think I was bullshit, but now I'm like I should.
Oh, now you're very good.
So I accidentally announced my brother's candidacy on this one though.
I mean, I could bleep it out if you want or whatever. Joe gets
Let
it.
him go with it.
All right, so we've reached the point of the show. Off the cuff, tender questions. All right, fucking going off, baby. We got the holidays coming up.
Yep.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce?
Homemade cranberry sauce.
Sauce over the food over
I
mashed
gotta
potatoes.
have that sauce, or it's not Thanksgiving.
So all right,
I want you to boil the cranberries, throw in the sugar, stir it until they pop. Then I want you to refrigerate it and have it ready for
Is that like a sweet treat over the pie? So all right, give me the main dish and then give me a dessert. Let's divide it up.
I've never been a mixing guy. You know how people can grab a piece of turkey and grab some mashed potatoes and throw it in.
Dude, I'm always
I
mad.
can't. I have
No.
to- I'm separate. No, I'm not saying I can't.
You support
eat cranberries.
segregation.
Yeah, segregation.
The
Only
food.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Only on the plate. So, but God, I mean, I'm a turkey, dark meat. Definitely stuffing. Definitely cranberry sauce. Definitely gravy. I could do without ham.
Ham, not so much on ham. What
Yeah.
about Hawaiian rolls?
No, but I like those other rolls that are heated up that look like Hawaiian rolls.
Yeah.
Butter those for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Apple pie, pumpkin pie are a must.
So like, you're not too picky. Just give you like.
Listen, I still hate my adopted mother, Evelyn Damaris. If you're there watching in Elk Grove, I hate you. But anyways, she knows it. She has that.
What'd she do? What'd she do?
No, I mean I haven't lived with her since I was a 10-year-old kid. She kicked me out, became a group home kid, but I can't stand that woman. But the one thing I'll give Evelyn Damaris is that woman can cook better than any other person I've ever met on God's good earth.
Really?
And I've looked far and wide.
You just couldn't do it?
Because I just don't want to hold on to that, right?
Like, damn
But
it.
this woman made the best Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners on God's good earth. Yams.
It haunts you.
Yeah, oh, God.
What did she make?
Like, you know, like my brother goes up to Sacramento because she moved up to Sacramento, I don't know, a couple years ago. She doesn't talk to me, whatever. But my little brother, he shoots up there and he'll come back and she'll have all these things that she bakes, pumpkin bread, cranberry bread, zucchini bread. And I'm just like, he's like, hey, I went and visited mom. I'm like, so where is it?
What you got for me?
What you got?
What you got?
Like, don't tell me anything about the visit.
Oh.
Just, do you have the goods or not?
They hook it up?
Sometimes
leftovers?
He does. Sometimes he does. He's pretty stingy.
I mean,
But I'll get
if
like
it's that
one
good.
pumpkin bar a year, or maybe like a zucchini bread or a blueberry muffin once a year. But yeah,
If you're gonna pick one pie, it's like lemon meringue, apple pie,
Apple pie.
whipped cream on top,
ice cream,
ice cream.
whipped cream
Very
on
good.
pumpkin pie though.
Oh, for sure.
Cherry pie's
Fuck
a
yeah.
must too though. Cherry pie during the
Are you a
holidays is
cheesecake guy?
must. No,
No.
absolutely
Juan.
no. Can't. It's too rich.
What? Too rich?
It's too rich. It's too rich.
Oh, you gotta have the right one. Like
No.
crispy, a little whipped cream on
I
it.
even went to the Cheesecake Factory. Had a chocolate one. It wasn't bad, but it was still like
It's super.
it's like moussey.
It assaults the taste buds.
Yes.
It just doesn't
can't.
let up.
I can't.
I got you.
I can't.
So everything. Thanksgiving. I love it. Just getting. I realize how much more fun Thanksgiving is like when you're just a little bit tipsy. You're sitting there, you got to ride home, but you're just ready for it. You're just eating more than you can. I love it.
It's disrespectful what I do to my belly on those days.
It's calories don't count on that day. Who
Yeah,
gives a?
that's true.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's the other the mascot that we would have had. How do you think
and
America
I'll,
would be
I'll
the
do
same?
leftovers
if we had
too,
turkey?
but for some reason I want someone else to prepare the leftover plate.
You like to be babied a little
A
bit.
little bit.
Take
yeah.
care of me.
Yeah, the next 3 days I'm like, I can't move from the couch.
my
Can
belly.
you please get me some leftovers?
Did you ever do like Black Friday shopping? Were you ever into that?
No. I think I did it one time. Oh, it was miserable. But thank goodness all the women in my life, they want to go do it on their own. They
Gotcha,
don't want
thank
anything
God.
to do with me.
Like, hey,
I
I'll
might-
stay out of your hair,
I'll
baby.
bring them lunch if they want lunch. I'll freaking
Nice.
I'll pick up bags and bring them home and then let them fill up the car again. But I'm not about that.
It sucks that like people will leave their Thanksgiving early because it's getting sooner and sooner that like the Black Friday deals are happening. That people are just forsake.
Well, I hear a lot of the big corporations aren't doing that this year because of COVID.
Hope not.
So is that the silver lining?
Man, if there is a silver lining,
Yeah,
I
if
think
there's a silver lining, if they're gonna bring Thanksgiving back, then
that'd be nice.
That's kind of a nice. I'm sad it takes that, but
There's also like a silver lining in terms of like we've focused on so much of the that COVID's brought in terms of how people have reacted, but I think some people have gotten better. They've improved on themselves. They've become better people or developed better
for
habits.
Sure. I mean, their houses are more beautiful, and you know they built pools and they've been bored. And yeah, there's some silver lining to this.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't want to focus on them though.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I mean, I guess like nature or the lakes and stuff haven't taken a beating.
Well, not our lake. God damn, we burned down. We didn't even talk about that. But
the fires, those were something else. Yeah.
Shit. I'll blame Newsom for that.
So there's a lot of things to be grateful for this year, though. Still, I mean,
Absolutely.
a lot of people did lose their homes in the fire, but there's been a lot of support in the community.
There's I'm doing that like social media for Posh Place across the street.
Yeah.
And they had a cat come in that they thought was dead. Like this couple went back to their home like 3 days after their house burned down, and they're looking, just seeing what's there, and they heard a meow. Yeah, they find Mama Kitty just kind of burnt, like the paws dehydrated. They took her in, We gave her, the doctors, veterinarians, gave her an IV, antibiotics, saved her ass.
That's
So
awesome.
like that's just.
I'm glad to hear something
crazy.
nice about Posh.
Yeah, they're
Posh
good.
and Primos Barbershop Vacaville are.
I know. There's.
We have a
buttheads.
little. You know, it's all about the parking.
Leave it in the past.
We're gonna leave it in the past.
You would love them. Like they're good people.
No, I'm sure they
The
are.
way
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
They haven't bothered. They haven't bothered me in a year or so.
No, they're good. And I was even talking to Darcy, the redheaded lady that
Yeah,
came in.
yeah.
You guys would get along. She's feisty as you're feisty. Like you guys both she loves Vacaville. Like she's like has 3 boys, a small business owner before. Like you guys would get along. So
You know what? Sometimes those people who are the same, that's why they butt head.
that they're, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For
Like
sure.
because we're just similar people.
Yep.
So she's not gonna put up with. I'm definitely not gonna put up with.
Oh, and that's why you guys would get along. I
Yeah, maybe
think.
eventually we'll mend that fence. And,
We'll have beers about it, beer
Yeah.
40 or something like that. All right, so if you could have any exotic animal for a pet, what would it be?
an otter.
An otter?
Those things are so cute.
Oh my god, they're all in Lake Solano. You could catch one.
Yeah.
They're all. That's a good one.
They're cute. They're
Just float around your pool, just like let the backstroke.
Those things are so cute.
You put them on your belly, like they put their babies on
Yeah.
their belly.
Yeah.
That'd be
Spin them around a little bit.
Yeah.
Get 'em all clean.
You have a pool? Like I see, because I remember seeing your posts.
My
like,
girlfriend's parents have an awesome pool that we always go to.
Nice.
That thing's like heaven.
Living there.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Because I saw one of your posts when the fires were going on. It was super close.
No, that was actually my brother-in-law's house. I
Okay.
went up there and helped them. We kind of emptied their pool and tried to get their everything soaked.
Yeah.
Actually, their house was saved.
Nice.
Well, my girlfriend's parents' house lived like a block away in the country area.
Too close, man.
There,
Too
it was
close.
all very close. Very close.
So, what smell is better? Is it the exhaust on a cold morning coming out of your car while it's warming up, or a fresh rain on asphalt?
Fresh rain.
Fresh rain on the asphalt.
Well, we had that
just-
today. That was nice.
It was nice,
It was
wasn't
probably
it?
around like 2:00 in the afternoon, just started
Yeah.
hitting. And I
Wow.
went outside, right out here, and it's perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect.
It's solid. Very good. Great smells. Great smells. If you could cut the hair of any pro athlete in history, who would it be? Maybe like a gladiator, Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens,
Maybe.
Mike Tyson,
You know, I always like. You know what? I want to cut Mike Trout's hair.
Mike Trout. Your
Mike
boy.
Trout.
Your boy.
I'll give you a free
Let's
haircut
go.
any day.
He would take it. It looks like it'd be a pretty easy cut. He's pretty.
Yeah, he
good.
does that little faux hockey, mohawky thing sometimes.
You got
but
it?
Other than that, dude, I would hook that guy up.
Yeah.
Some of these, I go to like the A's games and like when you're allowed to.
Have you seen him play when he came to
Yeah,
Oakland?
I've seen Mike Trout play, but I look at some of these guys in the club's haircut. I'm like, you guys are like 100,000ers at least. Most of you are millionaires.
Yeah.
Like, get a damn good haircut. You know? Like, don't be coming out here on the field looking like ass.
Maybe they're just trying to
Like,
put on
I'll
that
be the clubhouse
persona.
guy. Like, just give me build me a nice shop in the clubhouse. Give me a decent salary, and I'll just cut them.
That'd be a dope gig.
Yeah.
As a bat boy, why not have the clubhouse
Some
barber?
motherfucking Clubhouse barber, man.
That'd be
You
sick.
guys come in, the away team. You know, you can hair up if you want.
Hell yeah, just right down the
Oh,
middle.
you want it up?
Sorry, here's a hat for you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm
There you
saying? I think that'd be a good gig.
That'd be sick.
I heard Apple and Google have an in-house barber.
They have I was like a production assistant for like video and audio and all that. I went to the Google headquarters in Mountain View plenty of
Right,
times.
right.
They coddle their goddamn employees. Like not only do they shuttle them there, they have a full buffet every day at lunch with
Yep.
all these exotic,
They got,
like interesting
sleeping
foods.
rooms and
And one day a week they're supposed to work on their own project or something. But that's not to say like there might be evil goes on there. Who knows?
Yeah, who
Google,
knows? Who
like
knows?
that's about.
They're Monopoly.
I'll take my tinfoil hat off for
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
We'll put it on later. We
Yeah.
don't do a podcast, just go crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? So yeah, Mike Trout, excellent. What's the best dog breed?
The price is wrong, bitch.
I've always loved German Shepherds. Or
That's
no,
solid.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wrong. That's my girlfriend.
they're number 2. Okay.
They are
okay.
like number 2 or 3 to me.
Yeah.
My brother just picked up an awesome German Shepherd named Max. Beautiful dog.
dog,
Beautiful
man.
dog. But no, I'm sorry. I meant to say Golden Retriever. I
All
just
right,
like
all
how
right.
friendly and nice and chill they are.
Super smart too.
Super
They're
intelligent.
excellent.
They're just a great family dog.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get one.
Golden Retriever.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Golden Retriever.
So that's a big dog. You have a small dog preference? Maybe a Corgi? Those are my boys. Little Corgi,
Nah.
Dachshund or a Basset Hound.
I like the way the
bulldog.
No, what are they called? Like the Frenchies? The French bulldogs?
Yeah, little French bulldogs.
Yeah, they look cool.
They're
cool little
adorable.
dogs. Yeah.
We get, like, I'll get a call to go in because, like, hey, like, basket of puppies came in. I'll go and get, like, a video of just these little pups coming in to get their shots and whatnot. There's a basket of them. I'm just like, there are 8 of them just running around this room. I'm just that's like, this is my job. I love it.
Yeah.
Baskets of puppies, dude. It's great.
That's cool. That seriously is.
All right. Next one. So all right. I don't usually like adhering Christmas before Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving, goddammit. Give it its love. Then put up all your Christmas decorations after. But
see, this is the first year I broke that rule.
What have you done?
My
What have you
girlfriend,
done?
my girlfriend wanted to decorate. My girls and my girlfriend, they wanted to decorate. So
You're outnumbered.
we did it.
You're outnumbered.
And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It's nice going home to this Christmas decorations this early.
That's nice.
It's foreign, but it's nice.
There's I kind of like I started this mantra. I wanted people to say at the beginning of 2020. I kind of came up with this like no rules 2020. If you have ambitions, you have dreams, goals, what have you, do what you got to do to get that. I didn't realize that there literally
I'm
no
listening
rules
to Christmas
in 2020.
music on the way to work.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's good. It's
like,
good.
What's your go-to Christmas song? This is not off the record, but supplemental question.
Oh Holy Night's got to be my favorite song.
There's really cool religious like Christmas music.
I
It's
love
awesome.
religious Christmas music. I do. I like the Mariah Carey, the Mike Bublé.
God, Mariah
I
Carey's
like all
over
that
the
kind of
top.
stuff. Right, they're great, but the religious stuff is what hits me. I think a lot of people forget the reason for the season, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I like that there's a lot of Christmas things that remind us of that.
Movies in particular get me in the zone.
Right.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
A Christmas Story.
Classic.
Ralphie.
Ralph.
That guy
Oh
is
man.
hilarious.
Over Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Ooh, that's number
solid.
2. At least number
Yeah.
2. It's a little nipply out.
I just say nipple. Clark Grizzle's a maniac, dude. I love it. I want to be able to memorize his rant. Like, oh, that hopeless, dickless sack of monkey shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where's the Tylenol? Like, that is probably one of the best rants I've ever heard.
I like when he breaks through the freaking the ceiling.
Yeah,
And he's
just
like,
go through.
"Look, it's warm."
It's just so weird. What like claymations? Claymations are amazing.
Oh,
Grinch.
Nightmare Before Christmas is awesome.
That is a solid movie. Like,
Solid movie. My son's watched that since day one. We watched that hundreds and hundreds. It never gets old.
is it more of a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
For me, it's more
So
Christmas.
weird. Yeah, it's gotta be. Like, Christmas just kind of overtakes.
We do dabble in it for Halloween too.
Why not?
Yeah.
Gets you in the mood.
Yeah, the Grinch is a solid one.
Do you like the Jim Carrey Grinch?
I actually like. There's a new animation Grinch that just came out.
Oh, you like? I haven't seen that one yet.
It's actually pretty damn good. It's
Yeah?
pretty good. Like better than I thought it was gonna be.
I'll give it a whirl.
Jim
I'll give it a
Carrey
shot.
was good.
He's so weird.
I think he nailed it. I think the guy who did Cat in the Hat, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He nailed that.
Yeah.
So
So the question, I guess. Oh, let me run back to the question.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the coolest Christmas gift you've ever got? Maybe as a lad, maybe now as a man.
About that.
you know what's
trust.
crazy is that
Woo, woo.
my adopted parents, who I didn't get along with very much, they made such amazing food and so much good things like that they didn't really believe in like fast food.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, when we were real little, like I'm talking about like 5 to 10 years old, fast food was like a once or twice a year thing. Like no joke.
It was a treat,
It was
yeah?
a treat among treat. And I always remember my godparents would, Gail and Glenn Hertel, would always give us these little stockings with these coupons of $5.
Oh, let's go.
So we would all 4 of us, because there's 4 of us boys, we would hoard these coupons like they were.
Oh, it's like the strip of money, right? Like the
Right.
$5 thing.
This is back in the 80s and 90s, right? You'd
Yeah.
rip it out and you'd give it to and they would, it'd be a dollar's worth of McDonald's. And we would string them. I mean, it would be August before we were all done with our freaking, like,
Let's go.
Let's go get some fries. Let's go get a milkshake 1 month. And I'll let you get something this month. And
People get that daily now.
oh
Like,
my
it's
God.
like,
It was such a treat for us, right?
yeah.
But really, honestly, going back to Evelyn's food, is she really took care of us. She gave us those home cooked meals every single day, every single meal.
I love that.
So it was just foreign to us. The fast food was just like a foreign dessert, like you never got to have.
I love that, like, you're, like, I hear what you're saying, and you didn't say, like, a material, like a toy, because for me it was a Nintendo 64.
Right.
Like, just Santa Claus came unclutched. But for you, like, it was this, like, the food, it was coming together is something you shared with your brothers and sisters of, like, we got these coupons, or it's, like, the meal that
Right.
brings us together. which I don't know if a lot of people would really think that as a
here's
gift.
another thing about Christmas at my parents' house. There's 4 boys that were all the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Korean kid, a black kid, and my real brother and I, right? And we're all within 12 months of each other, so we're real close in age. So the pain in the ass thing about Christmas was we would open gifts, and if Joe opened a gray sweater, I knew I was going to get a gray sweater, and I knew Luke was going to get a gray sweater,
fuck.
and Mom was going to get a gray sweater.
That
And if you opened
sucks.
up a box with socks and underwear, I knew I was going to get socks and underwear. They got us the same. They were like
Assholes.
They were just big on like, hey, we don't want any of you guys to feel like we love anyone more or less. You're all the same.
What a convenient
blah, blah.
excuse.
Right. So we never got like an individual gift. Like if I got a Ninja Turtle, you got a Ninja Turtle, he got a Ninja Turtle, you got a Ninja Turtle.
As long as they're all different, if you guys can complete the the trio,
They did
quattro.
that. I'll give them that.
Let's go.
They completed the
Who is your guy?
Leonardo.
Yeah.
I was Leonardo. I was a leader.
There you go.
But so Christmas was like a bore, if you will. I mean, it was cool. I mean, we were all excited, and then we would all get like one central gift. I remember one year we got the Nintendo.
That's what's
Right?
up.
And that
Let's
was like
go.
for all of us from Santa, and like, oh, cool Nintendo. So we would get like a decent gift like that. And our stockings were all awesome because they're always full of candy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had
Let's go.
super long stockings full of candy and bullshit deck of cards. So the stockings were cool.
Fucking calories don't count on the holidays, baby.
Yeah, but so like I said, even so, and then when I was a group home kid, I didn't get gifts because I was a group home kid. Everyone else was allowed to go home. I had to stay by myself. Not to sound like all super sad and whatever, but holidays were a super lonely thing for me from probably like 10 till I was like 16, 17 when I started dating my ex-wife. And then so because of that, it made gifting for me awkward. Like I love giving gifts. I'll give a million gifts, but when someone gives me a gift, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate gifts. I hate them. I appreciate them, and I know that people put thought and stuff into it. But if I could have a perfect Christmas, I would get 0 gifts.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want a gift.
Man.
Yeah,
So many people feel the exact opposite. Like they're just greedy as
I don't want gifts. I want your presence. Physical presence there.
That's the
I want to
present.
have a freaking awesome ass meal. I want to watch my kids open gifts and be happy with what they have, and that's enough for me. Now, my girlfriend, she got me like an awesome watch last year, super cool. Like a box to put them all in. That's freaking awesome, right? And I love giving her whatever I give her, right? But like I said, like I just feel awkward. Like,
gotta get used to it. If you're gonna
Yeah.
give out the gift, if you're gonna dish it out, you gotta be able to receive it.
yeah, I just got to learn how to receive it better,
I hear you though. That's a good problem to have, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right. So if you were to have a charity boxing match with Gavin Newsom,
Ooh.
where would it be? Where would you want that fight to take place?
Let's do it in Primos Barbershop in Dixon.
Primos and Dixon?
Clear out the floor, put a ring in there.
Just have at it.
Just have at it. Bro.
Does he live?
Probably not.
No, just like, well, he's done.
Yeah.
Keep counting.
God.
I couldn't only imagine.
I want like a UFC. Forget boxing. Let's just do UFC.
You want to
style.
kick him too? Or
I want him to be knocked out before someone jumps in and says stop.
This
You
is
know what I mean?
This is for charity.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, guys, for charity.
This is for Juan.
And what I don't know what his charity would be, but I would have to.
Here's
I
for
don't
the officer, the fall
Yeah,
officer.
the kaput, the charge on.
There you go.
Yeah,
Worth it.
that sounds good to me.
What's the most awkward moment you've had as a barber?
Oh,
Somebody freak out on you or something like that?
You motherfucker. The next one will kill you.
Actually, it's pretty.
You shot me in the ass.
So we have these things called balders. Actually, I can show you what they are.
Yeah.
So they're balding. This is like the final step to balding out your head, right? And so these balders have their foil. They're foil like
That's
tops, right?
kind of
So they're foil, and then the blades right here. So these
Right.
blades are really sharp, and they run against the foil, and they grab your hair and they pull it and cut it super fast, so you don't feel it. It's not like painful, right? So you guys can use them on their chin or whatever. But if this foil rips, you're gonna get cut like a lot.
So that's like
So that's the protection.
the safety.
So now because I made this mistake before. I look at every time I go to foil someone's head. I look. So every haircut, I'm not right when I think. The first thing I do is look. Right, and then I look, boom, I'm good. And you don't have to look hard. It's not like you have to look, but you just look and you can see if something's like if the dark circles are bigger than they're supposed to be. Boom. So I was doing this airman, great guy named James Hodge, and thank God he was my buddy, right? A client that's turned into a friend, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And just cut him. I wasn't thinking anything, and I saw that there was like a rip in the foil, but so the ones previous to these are not as good, right?
Right.
So you could get away with using a rip one for like a week maybe, and no big deal, right? They're not going to cut anyone. You kind of just use the corner if you can remember. But if it slices over, no big deal. This one, dude, I went like this, maybe like, because you use it pretty fast. I probably did it like 8 or 9 times. He had blood just leaking down.
Shit.
I was like, oh my gosh. I looked, and there's blood all. I'm like, oh my, hey bro, this is a free haircut. What
did he say?
He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I thought I felt something, but I wasn't sure. I was just, I was just trying to.
So he wasn't like in pain, but it
no, but it left like some. It looked like a cat just went, So that was pretty embarrassing.
It happens.
But like I said, thank God it was a guy. He's been back to me hundreds of times since.
Hasn't happened since though.
Hasn't happened since.
You're good.
I'm
You're
super
good.
Paranoid about it now. So that was super awkward.
Yeah. Right. But now you know. Now you know.
Now I know.
That's. All right. So when they put you on death row for staying open, what's your last meal gonna be?
Ooh.
Verduzco.
Verduzco sounds good.
Yeah. Right.
Lengua tacos.
I haven't had lengua before. I'm a carnitas guy. I don't like to change from what I know I love.
But no, I'm an Italian.
All right. What do you got? What do you got?
Pietro's number one. I want
Got
their
some of that
spaghetti.
bread,
I want some
spaghetti.
Their bread and a small olive and mushroom pizza.
I love it. Just all the above.
Right. You gotta have olives and mushrooms because no one likes olives and mushrooms, and that way it's your pizza. You know what I mean?
Like cocktail, decide or
Yeah,
like
maybe
dessert
maybe a Guinness or 2.
or 3. If you're gonna die,
Yeah,
dude,
I'm
go f***ing hard,
Maybe a
dude.
6-pack.
Yeah. Just make sure you're pissing your pants when you're like.
Put a diaper on me, like a.
Why not?
Just put a diaper on me and just do what you gotta do.
And last one. Who's your favorite Star Wars character? Good or bad? I don't give a.
Hold on.
Could be Mandalorian. Have you been catching up on Mando?
Dude, I love that show.
Hey.
I mean, I'm almost like in father love with little baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
He's like my new favorite little thing.
Yeah, he is.
That guy's awesome. But geez, that's a damn good question. Han Solo.
Yeah, dude. Harrison Ford's the GOAT.
He's the go-to. He's the stud.
I remember doing a Zoom class. Like I was doing an article for like how preschools are staying afloat in winters. So I asked one of the teachers, "Oh, can I do a Zoom class with you and meet your students? Because they have a Star Wars day." And these kids, like one kid had like a Chewbacca mask on, another kid's picking his nose.
Yeah.
Like they're just. And I was like, you guys, my favorite person, not gonna lie, Darth Maul, because he had the balls to go up against 2 Jedi, and he got one of them.
Yep.
You got cut in half, but that takes some
Yoda was
bravery.
Sav in that fight too.
I don't. Yoda. No, it was Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, the first one.
You're right. I'm thinking about a different one where
Yoda's. No, he's a savage, but you one time and you just go into exile. You're like, I quit. I can't do it anymore.
It's true.
I don't know. We need to do a Star Wars podcast. We talked about it before.
Seriously. Freaking Kylo Ren's cool dude too.
He's probably the best character out of the new series.
In real life.
Yeah. That guy. He's a funny dude. Like off camera.
Yeah,
Like,
he's actually and he still remembers what it's like to be a Marine. He's not one of those like asshole guys that is above that. You know
he still
There's
has
actually a lot
pays
of
respect.
recently famous Marine actors. Gene Hackman
Really?
Mr.
Oh, that's
Rogers
sick.
was a Marine.
I heard like the conspiracies that under his
Full sleeves.
every kill. I love Mr. Rogers.
There's a bunch more. There's another funny guy who's actually super funny, but he's super liberal. So
God damn him.
yeah.
Well, God damn it, Juan. We had it for 2 hours. I got pissed like a racehorse. I'm not
Me
gonna
too.
lie,
I
dude.
did too, man. I was like,
So I mean,
don't offer me another beer.
I'm gonna go outside right over there.
There's
Already got
there's
bathroom.
one, on the side.
All right, I think I'll do that.
So,
But yeah, anything
thanks
else
for
to
having
say?
me. No,
Anything
thanks
left
for
to
having
say,
me,
dude?
and I hope we can do this again.
Absolutely.
Probably in like 6 months, and
See when
we can see if I beat him or I lost or what.
you'll be back open.
Yeah.
You'll be back open. I think I want to stay
I'll figure out a
positive.
way to piss someone off.
You got it.
I'll
Always,
have some good stories.
you always do.
All right, bro.
You lose. Good day, sir.